gosh, guys, is that Dream? Wait a second, but I'm Dream. These are the funniest fake Minecraft speedruns of all time. This first speedrun begins with the runner immediately locating a shipwreck, where he starts off the run by collecting some wood, crafting a few tools, and making his way towards the boat. But as the speedrunner is moving towards it, he randomly collects a flint and steel in his inventory, even though we clearly saw him never get this anywhere in the speedrun. Well, let's slow down the footage and take a closer look at this pig. To start, it's moving incredibly suspiciously, far differently than how a normal pig moves around. And secondly, as the speedrunner is running by, you can actually see this very pig throw a flint and steel at the speedrunner. Like we've seen in countless of speedruns, this player is on a multiplayer server where his friend is using a morph mod pretending to be a pig. Both things that are obviously not allowed in a speedrun. So, the runner enters the shipwreck where, giving him the benefit of the doubt, all three chests appear to contain pretty normal items. But in the top corner of the second shipwreck chest, there's actually one piece of obsidian, which is an item that can't spawn in shipwreck chests. And while it may appear to be innocent, remember this for later in the run. So, after collecting all the loot from the shipwreck, the runner begins to search for a ruins portal to hopefully travel to the nether, where suddenly, the runner starts digging down, where he falls directly into a ruins portal room. But hold on, that's literally impossible. There's no way the runner could have known to dig down at this random block. Well, let's rewind the footage and see what really happened. If you take a very close look at this tree, do you notice how it's different from every single other tree in the area? Well, that's because this tree is actually a spruce tree, while the rest are oak and birch trees. And the problem is, spruce trees can only spawn in cold biomes like a taiga, which the runner is clearly not located in. It's pretty obvious the runner built the wrong tree off camera to remind him the exact position the ruins portal was located. So, the runner locates the ruins portal, where he goes to loot the ruins portal chest, where he finds some pretty standard items. A golden helmet, a few obsidian, a vehicle crate. Wait, what? This will make more sense in a few seconds. Well, with the single block of obsidian he got from the shipwreck chest and the flint and steel from the pig, he's able to complete the portal and spawn into the nether, where he places down the vehicle crate he got a few seconds ago, and out spawns an actual car that the speedrunner actually hops into and starts driving around the nether. I've officially seen it all in Minecraft speedruns. So, with a literal car in Minecraft, it's pretty easy for the runner to travel through the nether and locate the fortress, where they immediately locate a blaze spawner. But as the runner is killing some of the blazes, move your focus towards this singular blaze, who seems to be moving awfully suspicious and far different than how a real blaze is supposed to move. Well, as the runner is fighting the rest of the blazes, you'll actually notice this blaze starts dropping multiple blaze rods, even though the runner clearly didn't kill it. If you haven't caught on, this isn't actually a real blaze, but a player again using a morph mod, likely the same one we saw pretending to be a pig earlier in the run. So, after fighting a few more blazes, the runner collects all the rods that he needs and starts to look for a bastion. But on his way, the runner comes across a full-blown obstacle course. Is this a new Minecraft feature? Well, the runner moves towards the obstacle course, where a player flies on screen typing in chat, "Welcome to the Minecraft obstacle course. Complete the course and you'll be teleported straight to a bastion." Well, the runner enters the course, where he comes across some of Minecraft's most impossible jumps. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, he's actually doing pretty good so far. Okay, there's no way he actually makes this jump. Oh my gosh, he's doing insane.
5 minutes later.
So, the runner finally completes the obstacle course, where, as promised, is teleported directly in front of a bastion, where he immediately locates a few gold blocks, crafts some ingots, and finds a group of nearby piglins to trade with. Now, you're probably thinking that the runner got extremely lucky, as he manages to get 16 ender pearls almost immediately from the piglins. But let's actually take a closer look, because this part of the speedrun is completely fake. Watch, as the runner is trading with the piglins, he gets this huge stack of pearls that seems to be coming from inside of this wall. Now, I was extremely close to letting this slide, thinking it was simply a visual glitch, until at this part of the speedrun, you can actually see this piece of blackstone actually move. If you haven't caught on, this is not actually a real block, but the exact same player we've seen throughout the run morphing into a piece of blackstone. So, after collecting all the pearls that he needs, a normal speedrunner would build another portal and head back to the overworlds. The only problem is, this speedrunner is just one block short of being able to create a nether portal. Well, as the speedrunner is frantically running around the nether thinking of what to do, he comes across the overworld house? Did I miss an update? Well, the runner enters the overworld house, but unfortunately, the chest inside is completely empty. But on the wall of this innocent house is a single lever, and when the runner clicks it, it reveals a hole that actually reveals the overworld. And I don't even want to know how, but the runner walks straight through into the overworld. I'm just as confused as you are. So, after entering the overworld without a nether portal, the runner crafts his Eyes of Ender and locates the exact position of the stronghold using a popular technique known as triangulation. But as the runner is digging down towards the stronghold, he digs straight into a lava pool. This guy is so bad at cheating. So, as soon as the runner falls into the lava, he pauses his game immediately so he can think. But I didn't expect him to change tabs from Minecraft to Roblox in the middle of his speedrun. You have to be joking. Well, after literally playing another game for 30 minutes, the runner finally returns to Minecraft. But somehow, even though the runner is still in lava, he isn't taking any damage. Well, if you look into the top right corner of the screen, you'll actually notice the runner has acquired a fire resistance potion, which is literally impossible, as if we rewind the footage to before he started playing Roblox, he clearly didn't have this potion effect at all. It's pretty obvious while the runner was playing Roblox, he went off camera and got a fire resistance potion so he wouldn't die. So, after digging into lava, the runner finally breaks into the stronghold, where he locates the end portal room. The only problem is, the runner only has 9 Eyes of Ender left after wasting too many looking for the end portal room, which is a problem as you need 12 Eyes of Ender to complete an end portal. Well, the runner still decides to start filling in the portal, where he goes to place his final eye, and when he places it, the portal actually lights. But this is literally the most cursed end portal I've ever seen, and honestly, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. We're just gonna move past it. So, the runner enters the portal, spawns into the end, where something incredibly weird has happened. If you look closely, you'll notice that the Ender Dragon doesn't have a health bar, meaning he's already been killed. And when the runner goes to the surface, he can't seem to find the Ender Dragon. Well, I might have spoken too soon, because you have to be kidding me. At this point, I don't even care that it's fake. This is too hilarious. So, the runner literally starts fighting the quote-unquote Ender Dragon, where he kills it and easily finishes the speedrun. This next speedrun begins with the runner mining some wood, looting a couple of nearby chests, and making his way towards a nearby village. Wait, this is the wrong footage. This next speedrun begins, and right away, there's something very suspicious happening. However, it actually has nothing to do with this player's gameplay, because as we can clearly see, the runner is facing straight and he is in survival mode. But let's take a bit of a closer look at this speedrunner's face cam, where if you look closely into the reflection of his glasses, you can barely see that the runner is reading an article on how to use a set seed. This is incredibly suspicious and could potentially mean this very world is a set seed, something that's clearly banned from an official speedrun. And I think the runner realized that he accidentally exposed himself because he immediately turns off his camera and continues with the speedrun. Now, if I'm being honest, almost everything else in the run looks fairly normal, as the runner starts to grab some wood, makes himself a crafting table, gets a few wooden tools and stone tools, and heads towards this nearby village. All 100% normal. But as the runner makes his way towards this village house, did you catch that? If you pay attention, you'll notice that one of the crops in this villager farm has been destroyed, which is actually something that can only happen if a player accidentally steps on it. This leads me to believe the runner was actually on this world before he started recording, where he must have accidentally stepped on this villager's farm. And when the runner makes his way to the house and opens the chest, our suspicion is actually confirmed. Because while it may look like these items are completely normal, it's actually impossible for a flint and steel to spawn in this village chest. There's something very strange about this speedrun. So, the runner grabs his loot from the chest, where he continues by collecting a couple of beds and going to mine this stack of hay. But let's watch closely to what happens when the runner starts mining. Are you seeing this? The runner is clearly breaking the blocks of hay, but not a single piece of hay is going into his inventory or even being dropped. I'm sorry, I wish I had an answer, but this speedrun might just be cursed. Well, after being stiffed and not getting a single piece of hay, the runner then begins to search for a ruined portal. But what the bejesus? Why the heck is there a piece of bread floating in the sky? Not only is it clearly fake, but how in the world did it even get up there? Well, I gotta say, this speedrunner might be smarter than I thought, because while I was distracted by this floating piece of bread, the speedrunner suddenly falls into a random hole straight into the ruined portal room. But I'll be honest, I'm still more worried about this flying piece of bread. So, the runner enters the ruined portal room, where he goes to open the ruined portal chest. And luckily, all the items in this chest are 100% legitimate. But hold on a second, did you see that? When the runner opens the chest, you can clearly see this chest is a large chest. Even though literally just a few seconds ago, we can clearly see this is a normal size chest. So, can someone please explain to me how the runner just opened a large chest when we can clearly see the only chest in this room is a small one? So, after opening the large chest, the runner collects his items and starts to complete the ruined portal. But this speedrunner's luck finally runs out because he ends up being just one block short, stopping him from continuing the speedrun. Well, that's when the runner has the strange idea of placing a lever in this exact spot. And after he flips it, oh my goodness, how did I not see that? If you look closely at this block, you can actually see it's a piston that's being hidden by a netherrack texture, which actually means the runner made a custom texture pack to hide the piston, all to move this last piece of obsidian in place. But I'm gonna be honest, why didn't the runner just place an extra piece of obsidian in the chest? That would have been so much easier. So, the runner lights the portal where he prepares to spawn into the nether. But I don't know, is it just me or did he spawn in very quickly? Keep that in mind because it could mean the runner cut his footage. So, the runner spawns in, and when he turns around, you gotta be kidding me. He's face to face with the fortress? I think it's pretty obvious his quick generation was a hint that the runner cut his footage so he could spawn directly in front of a nether fortress. So, the runner enters the fortress, where he finds a potion of fire resistance in this chest, and after he drinks it, he starts to search for the blaze spawner room. But that's when the runner finds, what? What in the heck is this wish.com version of a blaze? But that's not even the funniest part about this blaze, because instead of giving the runner blaze rods, he accidentally gives the runner sticks? Okay, this has gotta be one of the funniest speedruns I've ever seen. Well, this Timu Blaze must have realized his error because he picks up the sticks and then gives the runner a full stack of blaze rods. Okay, come on, did you really have to give the full stack? That just seems overboard. Well, with 64 blaze rods in his inventory, a normal speedrunner would then make their way to a bastion. But while the speedrunner is searching for it, he suddenly stops running, which is extremely weird, and he's wasting valuable time. Well, let's take a listen into his audio to figure out what's really happening. Okay, I could be wrong, but does it not sound like this guy is literally eating food? And listen to this. That's gotta be the sound of the runner opening a can of soda. Could this guy really not wait until after he finishes his speedrun to start eating? You cannot be serious. Is the runner eating chips? Well, after what sounded like a 5-course meal, the runner finally returns to the game. And I'll actually give the runner credit here, because he locates the bastion completely normally. But as he's running in, did you catch that? Let's rewind and zoom in to the top right corner of the screen. Okay, play the footage. Am I the only one who saw a Steve randomly flying across the screen? That's very suspicious, and considering the runner just found a bastion, this could mean this Steve is about to help the runner. Well, the runner enters the bastion, where he actually does some fairly normal stuff, collecting some gold blocks, crafting himself ingots to trade with the piglins, and even looting some of the bastion chests for any loot he can use later, where the runner locates a group of nearby piglins and he starts to trade with them. But hold on, please tell me you just saw what happened. If you look up to the right corner of the bastion, you can actually see Steve standing there, which is clearly the exact same one we just saw flying. And just half a second later, he throws on a potion of invisibility to try to hide himself. I'm sorry, Steve. I've seen enough speedruns to look out for any suspicious potions. So, the runner starts to trade with the piglins, but here's where things just get straight hilarious. Because after the runner throws his gold at the piglins, he suddenly starts receiving loot from the sky. And it's actually hilarious because you can clearly see this loot is not coming from the piglins, but simply coming from this Steve wearing an invisibility potion. And the cherry on top is just a few seconds later, a full stack of pearls drops from the sky right into the speedrunner's inventory. Well, I guess with 16 pearls and 64 blaze rods, it's time for the runner to head back towards the overworld. But the runner couldn't have made a more obvious cut in his recording, because we can literally see him teleport from inside to outside the bastion, and if you look at the runner's inventory, he now has 12 obsidian ready for him to build a portal. I'm sorry, but you aren't fooling a single soul. So, the runner builds his nether portal and starts to spawn into the overworld, where the runner spawns in underwater? Is it even possible to spawn in from the nether into the ocean? Well, I guess we'll let it slide for now, but that's just the start of his cheating, because the runner starts to swim towards this underwater tree, which is so obviously fake and clearly built by the runner. But that's not it, because did you notice what else the runner has been doing to cheat? Look, let's zoom in to the runner's oxygen level. He hasn't lost a single tick the entire time being underwater, even though we can clearly see the only potion the runner has is fire resistance. How the flip is that possible? Well, the runner makes his way towards the underwater tree, and I'm not surprised. He finds a hole underneath it with a path all the way down to the strongholds. Can you at least try to make it look like this speedrun is real? So, the runner enters the stronghold and goes to loot the stronghold chest. But what in tarnation? Not only are there clearly fake items in this chest, like this netherite sword and bow, but tell me why this netherite sword has literally every enchantment in Minecraft. And the bow is literally called the Master Bow, with some of Minecraft's most overpowered features. Alright dude, you're fighting the Ender Dragon. This is way too overboard. Well, the runner grabs his loot from the stronghold chest, and this is just the cherry on top, because the runner casually finds the end's portal with 12 Eyes of Ender in it, which you know, only has a 1 in a trillion chance. That's not rare at all. So, the runner jumps in the portal, and he finally spawns into the end. And the runner decides it's the perfect time to start using the Master Bow he just got a few seconds ago. But when the runner equips it, look at how many hearts he gains. This is the world's most overpowered bow. Well, even though the runner has this insane bow, there's one slight problem, and that is the fact that this guy is absolutely puns at Minecraft, because I'll speed up the footage to save you time, but he doesn't hit a single shot with his bow. And what's even worse, when the dragon perches, the runner can't even hit a single swing with his netherite sword. Well, after another 5 minutes of missing every single bow shot, the runner clearly has had enough. because you can clearly see him open the game mode menu where he switches his game mode to creative and just starts flying around the ends. And I guess with a sword that is this overpowered, he actually manages to kill the Ender Dragon pretty quickly. But instead of flying down to the portal and finishing the speedrun, the runner accidentally switches his game mode to survival and literally dies to fall damage. Bro, you were like 3 seconds away from finishing the speedrun. This next speedrun begins with the runner spawning inside of water. And while technically I guess this isn't impossible, the chance of you spawning underwater is less than 10%, so it is slightly suspicious. However, the rest of this speedrunner spawn does appear to be pretty normal, as he's facing completely straight, he's in survival mode, and he doesn't have any weird items in his inventory. But as the runner locates a nearby village, he accidentally reveals he's been cheating. Because let's rewind the footage and take a closer look at this tree. If you look closely, you'll actually notice one singular leaf that looks slightly different than the rest. This is a birch leaf, a block that clearly doesn't spawn in an oak tree. And if you play the footage, you'll notice the runner follows these trees with a birch leaf all the way to the village. It's pretty obvious the runner placed these blocks off camera to remember which way the village was located, and that also could reveal why he had such a random spawn. So after locating the village, giving him the benefit of the doubt, things do appear to be pretty normal. He loots some chests, he kills the iron golem, and he collects both hay and beds. But that's when the runner comes face to face with Ronaldo, and to make things even funnier, this guy is going insane.
Ronaldo! Oh my god, Ronaldo, no. I love you, Ronaldo. Sui!
You have to be kidding me. Well, after fanboying over Ronaldo for 5 minutes straight, something absolutely insane happens. Because Ronaldo literally starts giving the speedrunner some of Minecraft's most overpowered items. An enchanted netherite sword, a full stack of golden apples, and even enough obsidian to create his own nether portal. But I think this guy is more worried about the fact that he found Ronaldo in his speedrun.
Ronaldo, I'm your biggest fan. Please don't leave.
I can't take this anymore. So, with this extremely overpowered loot, the runner starts to craft his nether portal. The only problem is, the runner doesn't have a single flint in their inventory to craft flint and steel, meaning they have no way of lighting the nether portal. Well, the runner makes his way back to the village, where he goes to the chest in this blacksmith. And while he finds some pretty standard items inside, he also finds 16 stun grenades? Is that even a real Minecraft item? Well, the runner grabs the stun grenades, where he makes his way back towards the nether portal, where it appears as though he accidentally throws one of the grenades, literally stunning himself. This guy is bad even while cheating. Well, just a few seconds later, when he gets his vision back, the nether portal is now somehow lit. And I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how that just happened. So, after magically lighting a nether portal while literally being stunned, the runner can finally make their way into the nether. We're giving him credit, he actually locates the nether fortress pretty quickly. There's just a few problems with this part of the speedrun. To start, when he first enters the fortress, notice how he doesn't get a single achievement for entering it. And secondly, if you look at the corner of the screen at this frame, you can actually see a stone pickaxe that was left on the floor. These two pieces of evidence mean the runner has already visited this fortress before recording. But that's not all, because please tell me why the runner is literally listening to a motivational speech at this part of the speedrun.
You don't know me, son. 19. You don't know me, son. Yeah.
This might be the funniest speedrun I've ever seen. So, after getting some motivation, the runner enters the fortress, where he immediately locates a blaze spawner room. And giving him credit, these blazes seem completely normal, and he starts to collect blaze rods pretty quickly. But that's when out of nowhere, is that Herobrine? Things just got scary. Well, the runner immediately starts to back up slowly, scared out of his mind to face Herobrine. When Herobrine gets closer, and gives the runner a full stack of blaze rods, and literally types in chat, "I hope you have an amazing speedrun." This speedrun is so cursed, it somehow turns Herobrine nice. So, after collecting a full stack of blaze rods from nice Herobrine, the runner then needs to locate a bastion. And during his search, the runner finds this strange door with a sign above it called the Bastion Teleportation Room. And after he goes inside, he finds one of the craziest looking portals I've literally ever seen, which is called the Bastion Teleporter. Well, being curious, the runner decides to enter it, where he is then teleported directly into a bastion. I've missed too many updates. So, the runner enters the bastion, where he locates a couple of piglins to trade with. But this guy must be new to Minecraft, because he starts throwing iron ingots at the piglins, when everybody knows piglins can only trade with gold ingots. And this guy isn't too happy with the piglins.
Bro, are these piglins flipping bugged, bro? Why won't they trade with me?
Well, after some more frustration, the runner decides to pause his speedrun, go on YouTube, and search for a tutorial on how to trade with piglins. But hold on, while he's watching this tutorial, just take a look at this guy's tabs. He's listening to The Thick of It by KSI, he's been shopping on the Lunchly website, and he has a tab open with a tutorial on how to get a girlfriend. This might be one of the funniest speedruns I've literally ever seen. Well, after the runner finishes watching his tutorial, he starts to correctly trade with the piglins and collects some pretty standard loot. Some blackstone, a few pieces of string, and even some ender pearls. But the runner also collects one single item that's actually completely fake, which is this singular anvil. Not only is it impossible to get an anvil from a piglin trade, but remember this for later. So, after collecting some more pearls and enough obsidian to craft another portal, the runner makes his way back into the overworld. But as soon as he spawns in, is that evil Dream, who literally pulls out a diamond sword and starts chasing after the speedrunner. What is happening? Well, the runner immediately starts running for his life when he does one of the smartest things I've ever seen in a speedrun. Because as he's being chased by Evil Dream, he climbs up this giant mountain before doing one of the craziest clutches I've ever seen in a speedrun. And knowing that Evil Dream is literally right behind him, he blocks off the water pool at the last second, killing Evil Dream to fall damage. And I gotta give him credit, that was absolutely insane. So, after almost dying to Evil Dream, the runner crafts his Eyes of Ender, and after wasting a ton of eyes, he eventually locates the position of the strongholds. But as the runner is digging down, take a very close look at his hunger bar. Did you catch that? At this part of the footage, you can clearly see the runner magically regains all of his hunger, even though we clearly saw the runner didn't eat a single piece of food. The only possible explanation is that the runner cut his video and gained hunger off camera, which will make a lot of sense in just a few seconds. So, the runner enters the stronghold, where he immediately locates the end portal room, where he finds the exact amount of eyes that he needs to complete the portal. And if you couldn't tell, the runner clearly placed more eyes in the portal off camera, which now reveals why they had to cut their footage just a few seconds ago. So, the runner enters the end portal room, places the rest of his eyes, and makes his way into the nether. And thankfully, his spawn appears to be pretty normal on the surface. As the runner is still in survival mode, he doesn't have any strange potion effects, and the dragon is still at full health. But, do you remember when earlier in the speedrun, the runner collected this anvil from a piglin trade? Well, the runner goes to the surface, places down a crafting table, and uses that very anvil as the last item in crafting the anvil catapult, which is a weapon that he uses to literally shoot anvils at the end crystals. And after breaking all of them, he uses the anvil catapult to make quick work of the ender dragon. This next speedrun begins with the runner mining some wood, collecting a bit of dirt, and getting swarmed by a group of zombies. Wait, this is the wrong footage again. This next speedrun begins with the runner spawning on top of a shipwreck. And while that's incredibly suspicious for sure, it's technically not impossible, so we'll let it slide. And apart from a very lucky spawn, everything else looks normal too, with the runner facing completely straight, no strange messages in the left corner of the screen, and of course, the runner is in survival mode. But hold on a second, we missed something huge. I'm going to play this clip of his world generation, and I want you to figure out what's fake about it. Did you catch it? Well, to help you out, let's really slow down the footage and watch again. As As you can clearly see, the runner actually spawns in a completely different location, but just one frame later is on top of this shipwreck. It's pretty obvious the runner has just cut his recording and pretended to spawn on a shipwreck to help out with the speedrun. So, the run continues with the runner collecting wood from a nearby tree, making a crafting table, where he crafts some tools and heads towards the shipwreck. But nope, stop the footage, he just cheated once again. Because if you take an extremely close look at this beach, you'll actually notice one single block that isn't like the rest, which is this block of sandstone, a block that clearly can't spawn on a beach of normal sand, which actually means the runner placed it there himself before recording to help him out later with something we'll see very soon. So, the runner returns to the shipwreck, where once again, something incredibly suspicious happens. Because while the loot in all 3 chests are 100% normal, did you catch what's strange about it? That's right, all 3 of the chests have the exact same loot and the exact position of each item. And because I'm not a math genius, I literally asked ChatGPT what the odds were of this happening, and after some complex math that I don't even want to get into, the odds of all 3 shipwreck chests containing the same loot is literally 0.001%, which, just to put in perspective, you are literally more likely to get struck by lightning. Well, besides these strange chests, the rest of the shipwreck is fairly normal, and the runner returns to shore, where he starts looking for a ruined portal. But do you remember when just a couple seconds ago, I pointed out this strange piece of sandstone on the beach? Well, the runner must have noticed it too, because he decides to dig down at this exact block. But the runner must have put the block in the wrong position, because he digs all the way down to bedrock and can't find a single ruins portal. Even while cheating, this guy is terrible. Well, without finding a ruins portal underground, the runner returns to the surface and decides to look manually. And all of a sudden, after running in an extremely specific direction, the runner magically locates one almost immediately. But let's rewind the footage and see what actually happens. Because take a very close look at these pigs. If you watch closely, you'll actually notice they haven't moved at all, which is already very strange. But secondly, if you look closer, you can actually see the pigs make the shape of an arrow, which the runner has been following all the way to the ruined portal. And the only explanation is that the runner manually spawned in these pigs off camera to remind him which direction the ruined portal was located. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't smart enough to fool me. So, the runner makes his way to the ruined portal, where he opens the chest, collects his loot, and starts to fill in the portal. But hold on a second, did you see what I saw? No, it's not the ruined portal chest, as it actually contains completely normal items. And it's also not the portal itself, as it spawns in looking completely standard. However, watch the runner's inventory very closely when he starts placing obsidian in the portal. Did you see that? Even though the runner is clearly using these blocks of obsidian, for some reason, the amount in his inventory stays the exact same. And after my own testing, I actually noticed that when you're in creative mode, when you place a block, you actually keep the same amount in your inventory. So let's go back to the speedrun and take a closer look at his hearts, where if you look closely, you can actually see they are slightly blurry and much bigger than normal hearts. If you haven't caught on, this speedrunner is actually in creative mode and edited in a fake set of hearts to try to hide it. And this allowed him to finish the portal, even though he clearly didn't have enough obsidian. And the best part is that there's an obvious cut in his recording right after, where you can clearly see his hearts change as he went back into survival mode. So, the runner enters the portal, spawns in, and we can finally relax because things look normal. He spawned in with the same angle as he did in the overworld, he's still in survival mode with the same amount of XP, and he hasn't gained any strange potion effects in the top right corner. But as the runner starts to search for a nearby fortress, he makes a huge mistake, because it looks as though the runner stops moving for a few seconds, which in itself, I guess isn't too suspicious. However, when the runner starts to move once again, did you catch it? For literally one single frame, if you look into the bottom left corner of the screen, you can see the faintest message of a player locating a fortress, which actually means while the runner was innocently standing still, he actually made a cut in his recording and used a /locate command off camera. So, after using a locate command, the runner easily locates the fortress, where to his credit, he actually gets the achievement for entering into it. But things only get more strange when he goes to loot this fortress chest, because the runner finds one extremely strange item inside, this wooden axe. Okay, I know what you're thinking. What could possibly be weird about this very normal axe? Oh my gosh! This wooden axe has the ability to shoot fireballs? I must have missed an update. Well, with a fire-shooting wooden axe, the runner quickly locates a blaze spawner room and starts to absolutely destroy them, collecting 7 blaze rods almost immediately. Now, in a real Minecraft speedrun, 7 blaze rods is more than enough to continue. However, the runner must not be satisfied because he suddenly switches from Minecraft to YouTube, searches up a tutorial on how to duplicate items, and literally starts watching the tutorial during his speedrun. Did he forget that he's literally recording himself cheat? Well, after watching the tutorial, the runner returns to Minecraft, where he attempts to duplicate his 7 blaze rods. But I think he should have paid better attention to the YouTube video, because literally none of his rods duplicated, and the runner is still left with 7 blaze rods. This guy is terrible at cheating. Well, the runner must have given up on the duplication glitch, because he finally decides to start looking for a bastion. And giving him credit, he actually locates one fairly normally, without having to use a /locate command like he did earlier. But even without a /locate command, the runner still found a way to cheat, because let's take a very close look at the floor. If you look extremely carefully, notice how some of the blocks of netherrack are actually slightly brighter than other blocks. And if you play the footage, the runner actually follows these brighter blocks all the way to the bastion. But my question is, how the heck did the runner adjust the brightness of a block in Minecraft? Well, the runner enters the bastion, where he mines some gold, crafts some ingots, and starts to trade with the piglins. And thankfully, things are finally normal, as the piglins give him some very standard items. Well, that's besides this one piece of sugarcane the runner also gets, which is an item that's actually impossible to get from a piglin. And while this piece of sugarcane may look innocent, remember it for later. So, after collecting 15 pearls and 14 pieces of obsidian, the runner begins to craft his nether portal and spawns into the overworld, where he starts searching for the strongholds. But hold on a second, rewind that footage, because once again, in the bottom left corner of the screen, you can clearly see the runner use yet another locate command. Well, following the coordinates of this command, the runner actually ends up in the direct middle of a shipwreck. But don't worry, because this is all part of the speedrunner's plan, because he quickly places down a crafting table where he crafts one single lever and goes towards a very specific spot in the shipwreck. And when he places the lever down and flips it, he reveals a secret tunnel going all the way down to the strongholds. I have literally no words. So, the runner falls down, enters the strongholds, and begins his search for the end portal room. But when the runner finally locates it, oh come on. I think this may be the goofiest looking portal that I've ever seen. Well, the runner crafts his Eyes of Ender, starts placing them in this wish.com looking end portal, and somehow it actually lights. But not only does this goofy portal actually lights, but it actually teleports the runner straight into the end. Oh gosh. So, the runner enters the end, and hallelujah, things are back to normal. Survival mode, check. No strange potion effects, check. The dragon still has full health, also check. But when the runner goes to the surface, I'll just play the footage. Okay, this might actually be one of the funniest things I've seen in a speedrun. Did the runner actually think we'd believe this is the Ender Dragon? I mean, his wings are literally made out of black wool. But the even bigger problem is, where the heck is the real Ender Dragon? I mean, the health bar literally shows he still has full health. Well, this doesn't seem to be a problem for the speedrunner, because he starts to quote-unquote kill the Ender Dragon. But this piece of sugarcane the runner got from a piglin must be be magical because the second he equips it, the portal somehow lights on its own, allowing the runner to finish the speedrun. This next speedrun begins with the runner spawning directly next to a village. And right off the bat, there's already something fake about the speedrun. No, it isn't the village, as it appears to be completely normal. And it's not his world generation either, as it also looked completely legit. But take a very close look into the bottom right corner of the screen, where if you look carefully, you'll notice one block looks slightly different than the rest. This is a moss block, a block that clearly can't spawn in a plains biome, which means the runner placed this block himself off camera, and it will become important very soon. So the run begins with the speedrunner collecting some wood, crafting himself a few stone tools, and heading towards the nearby village. But right away, the runner finds some incredibly strange items in this village chest. Along with a saddle, bread, and leather boots, all normal items, the runner also finds 3 dark oak leaves and 2 sticks. And while these items may appear to be innocent, both of them actually can't spawn in a village chest. So of course, when the runner places down his crafting table, he uses these very items to craft the earthquake scythe? That's not a real item, is it? And when he swings it, he pulls stone and dirt from out of the ground, creating a ring around him and his enemy, which in this case is this poor pig. That thing is insanely scary. So, after destroying an innocent pig and collecting a bit more loot, the runner needs to locate a ruins portal to travel to the nether. But do you remember at the very start of the run when the speedrunner found this strange moss block on the floor? Well, the runner makes his way towards the block, and when he breaks it, he digs straight down into a ruins portal room. This cheating is hilarious. So, the runner enters the ruins portal room, where things appear to be fairly normal on the surface. But brace yourself, because this runner tries one of the funniest ways to cheat I've literally ever seen. Because when the runner goes to loot this chest, he decides it's the perfect time to ask his viewers to follow him on Instagram. And after the runner is done looting the chest, take a very close look at his inventory, where the runner has magically acquired a netherite axe. Well, let's rewind the footage and see what really happens. Because if you play this footage frame by frame, you can actually see there is a netherite axe in this ruins portal chest. And just 1 frame later, the runner put up the image to follow his Instagram. If you couldn't tell, the runner clearly did this to try to hide the fact that there is a netherite axe in this chest, but did it just 1 frame late. So, with a netherite axe in his inventory, the runner finishes building the portal and makes his way into the nether, where right off the bat, he immediately locates a nether fortress. Now, while the fortress is actually completely legit, it's something else this runner does that's actually completely fake. Because watch closely to what happens when the runner drinks this potion of healing. Did you catch that? Even though this is clearly a potion of healing, the runner somehow gained a fire resistance effect. And I'll just be honest, I have no idea how that just happened. So, with this fire resistance effect on, the runner quickly begins his search for a blaze spawner room. But that's when the runner finds the Blaze Museum? Did I miss an update? Well, the runner enters the Blaze Museum, where he finds a room full of blazes stuck in place, which allows the runner to fight them without taking any damage, quickly collecting 7 blaze rods. Since when were there blaze museums in Minecraft? So, after collecting all the rods that he needs from the Blaze Museum, the runner begins his search for a nearby bastion. And all is normal until the runner accidentally steps on this strange pressure plate, teleporting him into a dropper map? What is going on? Well, he reads a sign explaining that for him to get to the bastion, he must complete the dropper. I don't know what's happening anymore. Well, the runner goes for the jump, and actually completes the dropper first try. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty impressive. And as the sign said, after he survives the dropper, he finds these 3 strange doors in the wall, and when he opens them, he's greeted with a bastion right in front of him. So, the runner enters the bastion, where thankfully, things finally seem normal, as the runner crafts an iron pickaxe, collects some gold blocks, and searches for a group of nearby piglins to trade with. But this is when one of the craziest things I've ever seen in a Minecraft speedrun happens. Because the runner pulls out some extra dirt he got from earlier in the run, starts throwing it at the piglins, and they actually start trading with him. Let me repeat, the piglins are trading with dirt blocks. But not only that, because they give the speedrunners some of the most overpowered trades in Minecraft, including 12 blocks of obsidian and 16 ender pearls. I'm at a loss for words. So, after trading literal dirt with the piglins, the runner begins crafting his nether portal and prepares to head into the overworld. But this is when the runner decides it's the perfect time to start playing chess? During a Minecraft speedrun? This guy can't be serious.
5 minutes later.
Well, after literally playing chess during a speedrun, the runner finally returns to Minecraft and heads into the overworld. But pause the footage because the speedrunner actually just cheated. Because just a couple of minutes ago, before the runner started playing chess, we can clearly see this slot in the runner's inventory is empty. However, immediately after the runner returns to Minecraft, you can now see there's a diamond sword in that very same slot. It's pretty obvious the runner used playing chess as a distraction to get a diamond sword off camera. So, the runner spawns into the overworld, where using his Eyes of Ender, he starts to perform triangulation, a technique for locating the strongholds. But right after the runner throws his first eye, take a closer look into the chat, where it reads the message, "First throw registered, provide the second location." And right off the bat, that's extremely suspicious, because after testing this out in my own Minecraft world, I can confirm no message pops up after throwing an eye. But that's not all, because after the runner throws just one more eye, in the chat appears a message with the exact coordinates to the stronghold. This can't be a real feature. Well, after doing a bit of research, I actually found out the exact mod the runner is using, called the Strongholds Finder. And to add on, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of its description, you can clearly see this mod is not allowed in official speedruns. This guy's terrible at cheating. Well, after locating the stronghold using a banned Minecraft mod, the runner quickly digs down and enters into it. And giving the runner some credit, he actually locates the end portal room extremely normally, without any suspicious activity. But that's the last real thing that happens in the speedrun. Because when the runner enters the end portal room, he finds 2 end portals, 1 red portal, and 1 blue portal with a sign reading "Choose wisely." Literally, what is going on? Well, I guess the runner had a good feeling about the red end portal because he decides to jump into that one. But he must have made the wrong choice, because when he enters the end, oh my gosh, this is one of the scariest looking ends I've literally ever seen. Why are the end pillars literally made out of lava? And what kind of cursed fire dragon even is that? He definitely should have chosen the blue portal. Well, to make matters worse, when the runner tries to attack the fire dragon, he literally gets killed and the run just cuts off there. This next speedrun begins and there's already something fake about it. However, it actually has nothing to do with his spawn location, as we can clearly see he's facing straight, his first slot is selected, and the runner is in survival mode. But let's take a very close look at this speedrunner's world generation. Did you catch that? In a real Minecraft speedrun, this box must be filled in edge to edge before you spawn in. However, in this speedrun, you can actually see that the runner spawns in before the gray box is filled. This actually means there was a cut in the recording, and the speedrunner is likely using a set seed. Either way, the rest of the run starts off fairly normally, with the runner mining some wood, crafting a few tools, and heading towards a nearby shipwreck. But as the runner is swimming towards it, wait a second, did you see that? There's a single stick that is seemingly floating in the water. And because we can clearly see the runner doesn't have any in his inventory, how this stick is magically floating is something to keep in mind. Well, besides this strange stick, the runner makes his way into the shipwreck, where all 3 chests that he loots are actually completely normal. But while the runner has this chest open, let's take a closer look at his inventory, where the runner has suddenly acquired a potion of fire resistance. Well, because this fire resistance was clearly not in any of the chests, how is it possible that the runner has it in their inventory? Well, let's actually play this part of the footage in slow motion and tell me if you catch it. Did you see it? You can actually see a potion of fire resistance being thrown from the side of the screen, right into the runner's inventory, which was clearly thrown by some other player that is trying to stay hidden. So not only is this fake, but my guess is this hidden player is the one to blame for this floating stick. So the runner collects his loot from the shipwreck chests before making his way towards a nearby village. And all is normal until a runner finds the Rainbow Lucky Block house? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Well, the runner makes his way inside, and I think everybody knows what's about to be in this chest. A single piece of bread from a Rainbow Lucky Block house? What's going on? Well, the runner is clearly angry, so he starts to leave the Lucky Block house. But as he turns to the side, did you see that? The same chest that the runner just found a piece of bread in just a few seconds ago somehow mysteriously opens. And after hearing that, the runner goes back to check it, and the same chest now has some pretty overpowered items, including obsidian, flint and steel, and gold ingots. All items to help the runner in the nether. But how did this chest open on its own? Well, when the runner leaves the Rainbow Lucky Block house, pause the footage at this frame, where you can actually see another player right outside the window of the house. This player is clearly the one who's been assisting the speedrunner throughout the run, but he should have hidden more carefully. So, using his loot from the Lucky Block house, the runner starts to build his nether portal, preparing to head into the nether. But when the runner goes to light it, oh my gosh, this might be the world's most beautiful nether portal. Well, the runner enters this majestic nether portal, but when he spawns into the nether, I'm not gonna lie, things look completely normal. So I guess this portal ran out of all its powers. So, the runner enters the nether, where after collecting some extra wood and fighting a couple mobs, he begins his search for a nether fortress. And the runner has the bright idea of pulling out a compass and trying to follow it to find a fortress. But I don't think this runner realizes that without setting any coordinates, this compass does absolutely nothing. But the runner still quote-unquote follows it till he actually finds a fortress? But wait a second, that's literally impossible. You can clearly see this compass was pointing in random directions. Well, let's rewind the footage and take a very close look at this block of soul sand. To start, it's actually impossible for soul sand to spawn above Y34 in this biome, which means it's actually fake. But secondly, if you play the footage, the block starts moving, and if you pay close attention, you can actually see the runner follow this soul sand's block all the way to the fortress. This moving block is clearly the runner's friend with a morph mod, and he's the one who led him to the fortress, not this compass. So, the runner enters the fortress, but before he starts looking for a blaze spawner, he goes to loot this fortress chest. But hold on a second, did you see what I saw? As the runner is traveling through this hallway, you can actually see this random item frame on the wall. And while I don't see how this could possibly help the speedrunner, it's pretty obvious it can't naturally spawn there, so let's keep it in mind. Well, the runner goes to loot the chest, where he finds some pretty standard items, including flint and steel, a few iron ingots, and even a gold sword. But the runner grabs this singular gold sword, where he runs back towards this strange item frame we just saw. But after placing it in the item frame, a secret door opens up with a passageway that goes all the way to the blaze spawner. And I'll be honest, I have no idea how the runner did that. So, after locating the blaze spawner through a secret passageway, the runner drinks a potion of fire resistance and starts to fight some of the blazes. But These must be some of the world's strongest blazes, because the runner somehow breaks his gold sword before he's able to kill a single blaze. Which is incredibly odd, because after testing in my own Minecraft worlds, I easily destroyed the blaze with the exact same golden sword. But I guess these blazers are strong for a reason, because instead of dropping just one blaze rod, each blaze drops 3 blaze rods, which is not only triple the amount that can drop naturally, but I have no idea how the runner pulled that off. So, with each blaze dropping 3 rods, the runner only needs to kill a few more before he has enough to leave the fortress. And with that, he makes his way towards a nearby bastion, where if I have to give him credit, he locates it without a single bit of suspicious activity. But this speedrunner must have just downloaded Minecraft, because instead of trying to trade his gold with piglins, he starts throwing his gold at a hoglin? You can't make this up. Well, clearly the hoglin isn't going to trade with this gold. Oh my gosh, he picked up the gold. And not only that, but he gives the runner some pretty good trades, giving him ender pearls, obsidian, and even more fire resistance. How is this possible? Well, hold on a second and let's rewind the footage. Because as the runner is casually mining some gold blocks, take a close look into the top left corner of the screen, where we can clearly see the same friend who's helped the runner throughout this speedrun morph into a hoglin? Is that even a vanilla feature? And after knowing someone else morphed into a hoglin, if you carefully analyze the movement of this hoglin, you can clearly see it's moving unnaturally and not like a real hoglin. Put these two together, and it's pretty obvious this hoglin the runner is trading with is actually the speedrunner's friend, once again using a morph mod. And that explains how he was able to trade with it. So, after getting all the loot that he needs from this quote-unquote hoglin, the runner begins to craft a nether portal. But the runner does something incredibly strange by putting 4 pieces of blackstone around each corner of the portal. And the runner then explains in chat that by adding the blackstone, he has now created a strongholds portal. Well, I'm not sure if I believe it, but either way, the runner lights it and prepares to head into the overworld. Oh my gosh, he actually spawns in directly into the strongholds. I guess he wasn't lying about this strongholds portal. So, the runner enters the strongholds, where after fighting a few mobs and looting a chest, he starts to search for the end portal room. But when the runner turns this corner, he finds the stronghold tour guide, who immediately types in chat asking the runner if he can provide any assistance in the strongholds, which the runner replies asking for directions to the end portal room. And after agreeing in the chat, this stronghold tour guide leads the runner straight to the end portal. I think I've seen it all. So, the runner enters the end portal room, where he crafts his Eyes of Ender, completes the portal, and spawns into the end. But unfortunately, things just get even more cursed from this point forward. Because while the runner's spawn into the end was completely normal, and his inventory doesn't have any overpowered items, notice how at the top of the screen, there isn't a health bar for the Ender Dragon. In a real Minecraft speedrun, if there is no health bar, it actually means the Ender Dragon has already been killed. But when the runner goes to the surface, he actually does spot the Ender Dragon. So what is going on? Well, this dragon must be glitched, because if you pay attention to his movement, you can literally see that he's stuck in place perching. And when he tries to damage it, the dragon is literally invincible. And after literally trying for 5 minutes straight, the runner can't do a single tick of damage to the Ender Dragon. Well, the runner must have been angry, because after not being able to kill the dragon, they run towards the edge and jump off the map. I'm so confused. This next speedrun begins with the runner spawning directly next to a pillager outpost. And while there's technically nothing fake about the spawn, the odds of spawning directly next to a pillager outpost are between 1 and 5%, so it is something to look out for. Either way, the run begins with the speedrunner collecting some wood, crafting a few tools, and moving towards the outpost. There's just one slight issue. He doesn't see a single pillager anywhere around the outpost, which is something that's literally impossible, as a pillager outpost will always spawn with pillagers in it. Well, when the speedrunner makes their way up the stairs, they accidentally open their chat, which actually reveals that the speedrunner used some sort of command to spawn in the pillager outpost himself, which not only means his spawn was completely fake, but now it makes sense as to why there's no pillagers. So the runner makes their way to the top, where they go to loot the pillager chest. And on the surface, it may appear as though all the items in this chest are completely normal. However, there's one single item that actually can't spawn in a pillager outpost, which is this singular piece of blackstone. Remember this block for later in the run, as it will become extremely important. So, after looting the rest of the pillager outpost, the runner makes his way to a nearby village. However, if we watch the footage closely, we can clearly see the runner only collects 4 beds, which is far less than the 5 to 7 a normal speedrunner would collect. However, when the runner opens their inventory, they somehow have 8 beds. How did their beds duplicate? I have literally no idea. Well, besides the bed duplication, the rest of the time in the village is fairly normal, as he gathers some hay and kills the iron golem, collecting a bit of iron. However, instead of searching for a lava pool or ruins portal like a normal speedrunner would, this runner decides to head towards this village's water well. And all of a sudden, the runner jumps in, revealing a path all the way to a ruins portal. But hold on, let's rewind the footage and take a closer look. In a real village, the water well always has 4 torches, one on each corner. However, in this village, you can clearly see one of the torches is missing. This was clearly removed by the runner as a way to remember a ruins portal was located under this well. So the runner goes down, enters the ruins portal room, and goes to loot the chest inside. But before he opens the chest, take a very close look at the ruins portal. Got it? Well, the runner opens the chest, and thankfully, all the items inside are completely normal. However, when the runner closes the chest and goes to complete the portal, you'll actually notice that 2 pieces of obsidian have been mysteriously added. Look, just 10 seconds ago before he opened the chest, we can clearly see these 2 blocks were not there. So somehow, when the runner was looting this chest, 2 pieces of obsidian got added to the portal. But how is that possible? Well, if you take an extremely close look into the top corner of the cave, you'll actually notice these strange particles floating in the air. And if you didn't already know, these particles are clearly coming from somebody using an invisibility potion, which means while the runner was innocently looting the chest, somebody else placed the extra blocks on the portal. So, with 2 extra pieces of obsidian in the portal, the runner easily completes it, crafts flint and steel, and enters the portal. But when the runner spawns in, he literally spawns in the middle of a lava pool? Is that even possible? Well, without hesitation, the runner exits the portal and starts swimming in the lava. And even though he clearly doesn't have a fire resistance potion, he doesn't take a single bit of damage. I'm so confused, we're just gonna ignore it. So, the runner leaves the lava pool completely unharmed, where they start searching for a nearby bastion. But on the way, the runner comes across a chest sitting in the middle of nowhere. However, this chest does not contain a bunch of overpowered items like you'd probably expect, but it does contain one single block called quote-unquote magic dirt. Well, the runner grabs the magic dirt from the chest, where he travels to a pretty flat area. But when the runner places the piece of magic dirt on the ground, an entire bastion spawns out of thin air. What? I'm not gonna ask any questions. So, the runner enters a bastion he just spawned in with dirt, where he mines gold blocks, collects some ingots, and starts to look for any piglins to trade with. The problem is, after scanning the entire bastion, he doesn't find a single piglin anywhere. So, how is the runner supposed to make trades and get important items for the speedrun? Well, the runner searches for just a bit more until they find one of the strangest things I've ever seen. It's a block with a super small piglin trapped inside. And when he clicks on the block, he's given an entire menu to trade with. This can't be a real feature. Well, the runner places his gold in this trading menu, and after only 30 seconds, he receives 4 stacks of ender pearls from this piglin. Seriously, what is going on? So, after collecting all the pearls that he needs, the runner makes his way to a fortress. But the runner finds something incredibly hilarious in the fortress. Is that a chicken spawner? That's right. Instead of finding a blaze spawner, this speedrunner literally finds a chicken spawner. You have to be kidding. Well, the runner starts killing the chickens from the chicken spawner, but somehow they actually drop blaze rods. And not only that, but some of the other chickens actually drop obsidian for the runner. I'm at a loss for words. So, after he collects 7 blaze rods and 16 pieces of obsidian, a normal speedrunner would then build a portal and head back towards the overworld. But this speedrunner starts to make one of the goofiest looking nether portals I've literally ever seen. Okay, this guy has to be joking. Well, the runner still decides to pull out his flint and steel. There's no way this lights. Oh my gosh, it actually worked. This has to go down as the goofiest nether portal of all time. So, the runner enters this goofy portal and somehow spawns back into the overworlds, where they immediately craft Eyes of Ender and start using a popular technique known as triangulation to locate the position of the strongholds. But only about 30 seconds later, the runner comes across an above ground stronghold. And it's literally not even possible for a stronghold to spawn above ground, so I don't even know what I'm looking at. So the runner enters the above ground strongholds, where they begin their search for the Ends portal room. And giving the runner credit, he finds the End portal room pretty quickly without cheating or any suspicious activity. But this End portal is nothing close to being normal. What? What is it with this speedrunner and goofy portals? Well, he still decides to place his eyes in this strange looking portal, and somehow it actually lights. And when the runner jumps in, he actually spawns into the End. Thankfully, when he spawns in, things seem to be back to normal. He spawns on an obsidian platform. All the pillars still have End crystals on them, and the dragon is still at full health. Well, the runner starts off by breaking all the crystals, where they then decide to make a crafting table. Now, do you remember at the very beginning of the run when the speedrunner got this piece of blackstone from the pillager outpost? Well, the runner uses that very piece of blackstone as the final item in crafting the Dark Star Mace, which is so powerful that it literally one-shots the Ender Dragon. This next speedrun begins, and based on his spawn, everything looks pretty legit. The speedrunner is facing completely straight, he doesn't have any strange items in his inventory, and he's also in survival mode with 0 XP. But there's actually something completely fake about this spawn you probably missed. In a real Minecraft speedrun, when you spawn in, it takes multiple seconds for every chunk to load in, like this. However, in this speedrun, the millisecond the runner is spawned into his world, hundreds of chunks are already completely loaded in. The only possible explanation for this is that there was a cut in his recording, which means his world generation was completely fake, and the runner is likely using a set seed, which will make more sense very soon. So, the speedrun begins with the runner collecting some stone, crafting a couple of tools, and making their way to a nearby village. And not only does the speedrunner come across one blacksmith, he finds 2, 3, 4, and 5 blacksmiths in a single village. And while technically this isn't impossible, after literally asking ChatGPT, the probability of 5 blacksmiths spawning in a single village is over 1 in 3 million. However, for now, let's give the speedrunner the benefit of the doubt, as he collects a few beds, kills the iron golem, and loots a few chests, all completely normal. But when the speedrunner is about to loot this chest, he receives a phone call.
Hello?
You have to be kidding me. So, the runner answers the phone mid-speedrun, but I think he forgot that his mic was unmuted, because on the phone, we can clearly hear his friend reveal he's been cheating this entire speedrun. Take a listen.
The seed works, right? I give you the best seed ever. It's so overpowered, man.
If you haven't caught on, his friend just proved the runner has been using a set seed the entire time, which is not only clearly not allowed in a speedrun, but reveals why the runner edited his world generation earlier in the run. So, after revealing the speedrunner is literally on a set seed, it's no surprise that he easily knows the location of a ruins portal. But when the speedrunner goes to loot this ruins portal chest, he finds some pretty interesting items. Some golden boots, a block of obsidian, and glowstone? Not only is it impossible for glowstone to spawn in a ruined portal chest, but how could that even be helpful in this speedrun? Well, the runner grabs the glowstone from the chest. You have to be kidding me. There's no way he's actually trying to build an aether portal. Everyone knows it's not real. Well, the runner still decides to pull out a water bucket from his inventory and... What? Did he just craft an aether portal in vanilla Minecraft? What am I looking at? Well, the runner enters the aether portal and actually spawns in the aether. I'm not even going to question it. So, the runner spawns into the aether, and after the speedrunner gathers some more wood and does some exploring, he finds this strange chest in the middle of nowhere. And while none of the items here seem to be overpowered, one item is actually extremely important for the speedrun, which is this singular saddle. Because the runner grabs the saddle, equips it, and... Is that a majestic cow? Well, the runner pulls out the saddle he just got from this random chest, places it on this majestic cow, and starts flying around the aether. What is even happening anymore? Well, after flying around for just a couple seconds, the runner comes across a fully built nether portal on a random cloud. This is getting out of control. So, after flying on a literal cow to a nether portal, the runner finally enters the nether, and as the runner starts searching in the nether, he actually manages to locate a fortress pretty quickly. The only problem is, it's on the complete opposite side of this lava pool. And without enough blocks in his inventory, how is the runner supposed to travel to the fortress? Well, the runner turns around and finds a random chest on the ground, even though just seconds earlier, we clearly saw this chest wasn't here at all. Well, when the speedrunner opens the chest, he finds 5 wood boats. Please don't tell me he's gonna start dream boat clutching in a speedrun. Oh my gosh, that was actually insane. So, after pulling off the craziest stunt in speedrunning history, the runner enters the nether fortress. And in the process of looking for the blaze spawner, the runner actually comes across a fortress chest, where a normal speedrunner would likely find some pretty decent loot, including iron and gold ingots. But when the runner tries to open it, it turns into a monster that literally starts attacking the speedrunner. What is even happening anymore? Well, after almost dying to a chest monster, the runner finally locates the blaze spawner room. The only problem is, if you look closely, you'll actually notice the blaze spawner has completely vanished. But even though there is clearly no blaze spawner anywhere, blazes actually start to spawn out of thin air. And I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how the speedrunner is doing this. So, after blazes spawn out of thin air, the runner starts to fight one and collects a few blaze rods. And while nearly all of the blazes he fights drop completely normal blaze rods, there's one blaze that drops something incredibly strange, which is when this blaze actually drops a map for the speedrunner. While this is not only impossible to drop from a blaze, remember this map for later in the speedrun. So, after collecting the 7 blaze rods that the speedrunner needs, he begins his search for a nearby bastion. And on the surface, it would appear as though he gets incredibly lucky, as he's able to locate the bastion extremely quickly. However, let's rewind the footage and take a closer look at what really happened. If you pay very close attention, you'll actually notice that the speedrunner has been following these blue flames all the way to the bastion. The problem is, blue fire can only spawn naturally on one single block, soul sand. However, if we play the footage, it's very clear that this blue fire is not on soul sand. So not only were these clearly placed by the speedrunner as a way to direct him straight to the bastion, but also I have no idea how blue fire is spawning on netherrack blocks. So after locating the bastion, the runner enters it, collects some gold blocks, and starts to trade with a group of nearby piglins. And thankfully, most of the trades the runner gets look to be pretty normal, as the runner collects some ender pearls, obsidian, and even some netherite ingots. But there's one singular trade where the runner gets a very very strange item, which is this bronze key. Not only is it obvious this isn't a real Minecraft item, remember this specific bronze key for later in the run. So, after collecting all the items that he needs, you'd expect the speedrunner to use the obsidian in his inventory to craft a portal and head to the overworld. But instead, the runner places down a crafting table and crafts an obsidian chest plate. Is that even a real item? Well, not only does he craft an obsidian chest plate, he crafts an entire set of obsidian armor. The only problem is, he now has 0 blocks of obsidian to build another portal. So how is he supposed to head back to the overworld? Well, the runner decides to drink a potion of fire resistance where they travel to a nearby lava pool. And without any hesitation, the runner jumps straight into the lava. And after only a few seconds, when the runner returns to the surface, he is now somehow in the overworld. What did I just watch? So, after the runner somehow teleported to the overworld without a portal, the runner now needs to locate a stronghold. But instead of using the process of triangulation like a real speedrunner would, the runner grabs the map he got from a blaze earlier in the run, and when he opens it, sees a large X that is obviously the location of a stronghold. So, using his map, the runner travels to the red X and of course locates the stronghold, where he quickly finds the end portal room, finishes the portal, and spawns into the end where things thankfully appear pretty normal, as the ender dragon has full health and the runner spawns on an obsidian platform like normal. But as the speedrunner makes his way to the surface, he finds an interesting looking chest on the ground, and when the speedrunner tries to open the chest, it says that it can't be unlocked without a bronze key. Well, do you remember when earlier in the speedrun, the runner got this key from a piglin trade? Well, he pulls it out, opens the chest, and finds some of the most overpowered items I've ever seen. Full netherite gear, multiple stacks of god apples, and a lightning sword. Well, the runner equips the lightning sword, which starts summoning lightning out of thin air. So, when the dragon perches, it's pretty obvious that the runner absolutely destroys it. This next speedrun begins, and right away, there's something incredibly fake about it. No, it's not his spawn, as we can clearly see the runner is facing straight. And it also isn't his game mode, as is in survival with 0 XP. But let's take a very close look at this tree, where we can clearly see multiple bees flying around it. Now, bees were introduced into Minecraft in one specific version, 1.15. The problem is, if we rewind the footage, we can actually see the runner is playing in Minecraft 1.12. This actually proves his world generation was completely fake, as it's literally impossible for a bee to spawn in 1.12. This will make more sense very soon. So the run begins with the runner collecting some wood, crafting a couple tools, and locating a nearby village. And to my surprise, everything about this village is completely perfect. All the chesty loots contain completely normal items, the iron golem drops a normal amount of ingots, and the runner collects beds and mines some hay. However, this village almost seems too perfect, as if the runner is trying to pretend there's nothing fake about the run to trick us. Well, when the runner leaves the village, he reveals something absolutely hilarious. Because if you pause at this frame, you can clearly see how unnatural this village looks. And it's pretty obvious the speedrunner pasted it in himself off camera, which also explains why he had to fake his world generation. So the run continues with the speedrunner leaving the village and searching for a ruined portal, where he actually manages to locate one fairly quickly, where he opens the chest, loots it, and starts to complete the nether portal, all completely legit. But there's actually one small detail about this ruins portal that's completely fake, because in Minecraft, there's actually 12 different types of ruined portals that can spawn, with this ruins portal being known as portal_3. Well, of the 12 ruins portals, there's actually only 2 that spawn without a gold block, one of them being portal_3. The problem is, if we look at the footage, we can clearly see the runner finds a gold block at this ruined portal. The only possible explanation for this is the runner placed this himself off camera, which likely reveals why he edited his world generation earlier in the run. So the run continues with him completing the portal, lighting it, and spawning into the nether. And to the normal person, his spawn may seem pretty normal, normal, as he doesn't spawn in front of any overpowered structures. However, if you look into the left corner of the screen, you'll actually notice he doesn't get the achievement for entering the Nether, which reveals the runner has already traveled to the Nether before recording, which will make more sense very soon. So the runner spawns in, where he immediately begins to search for a bastion. But on his way, the runner comes across this strange group of soul sand on the ground. To start, it spawns in a very suspicious pattern in a perfect 3x3 square. And secondly, it isn't even possible for soul sand to spawn above Y34 in this biome. Well, the runner decides to break the soul sand, which reveals a group of stairs. And when the runner travels down, he locates a door that goes straight into the bastion. I think everyone knows this is fake. So the runner enters the bastion, where he collects a bit of extra gold and starts to trade with a group of piglins. But this is when the speedrunner actually gets extremely unlucky, because after throwing a huge stack of gold at the piglins, literally none of them want to trade with him. And karma must have caught up to the speedrunner, because I have no idea how that's possible. Well, after literally getting denied from trading with piglins, the runner makes his way to this nearby chest. But let me play the clip and let me know if you see what's wrong with it. Did you catch that? At this part of the footage, there's a very subtle cut in the recording, as the textures in the lava actually switch. And when the runner goes to the chest, he of course finds all 16 ender pearls that he needs. If you couldn't tell, it's pretty obvious the runner cut his recording to fill this chest with ender pearls off camera. So the runner collects his pearls before starting to search for a nearby fortress. But on his way, the runner finds this strange chest sitting in the middle of nowhere. And inside, he finds the magic pearl? Is this a new feature? Well, the runner takes the magic pearl from the chest, where he throws it in a completely random direction. And when it lands, he spawns directly into a fortress. I don't even want to try to explain how this worked. So the runner enters the fortress, where they begin their search for the blaze spawner room. But on his way, the runner comes across this fortress chest that contains some pretty standard items. Gold ingots, iron ingots, the jackhammer. Wait, what? Those blazes just got destroyed. So, after collecting 7 blaze rods with the jackhammer, a normal speedrunner would build a nether portal and head back towards the overworld. The problem is, the runner did not collect any obsidian from the bastion earlier in the run, so how are they supposed to build a portal and make their way back towards the overworld? Well, the runner pulls out some leftover wood from their inventory, where they start crafting fences and actually start making the shape of a nether portal. Okay, there's no way this is gonna work. Oh my gosh, it actually worked. The runner just built a nether portal out of fences. This has simply gone too far. So the runner lights the portal, enters it, where they spawn back into the overworld. And his spawn back into the overworld appears to be pretty normal. As he's still in survival mode, he has the exact same items he had in the nether, and he doesn't spawn directly into a stronghold like we've seen with other runs. But do you notice how it's actually daytime when the runner spawns in? In Minecraft, it will turn from day to night after 10 minutes has elapsed. The problem is, if we look at the speedrunner's file, we can clearly see his speedrun is at 14 minutes, which means it should be night for him, but it's actually day, which proves his spawn into the overworld is actually fake. So when the runner goes to this nearby tree and breaks it, it's no surprise he finds a ladder going all the way to the stronghold. This is out of control. So the runner enters the stronghold, where they begin their search for the end portal room. But as they're looking through the stronghold, did you catch that? At this exact frame, if you look into the left corner of the screen, you can see the faintest message of a player changing his game mode to survival, which actually proves there was a cut in the recording. So when he enters the end portal room and has the exact amount of eyes to complete it, it's pretty obvious the runner cut the footage so they could go off camera and place extra eyes in the portal. So the runner enters the portal room, lights it, and spawns into the end. But when the runner spawns in, where is the surface? He literally spawns in a floating end dimension. And when the runner tries to bridge over the center, he literally gets killed by the dragon. I guess that's what he deserves for cheating so terribly. This next speedrun begins with the runner spawning directly next to a village, where he's in survival mode with 0 XP, his loading screen looked to be pretty normal, and he doesn't have any overpowered items in his inventory. However, you probably didn't even notice it, but his spawn is completely fake. In a real Minecraft speedrun, when you spawn in, you'll always be facing straight. However, in this speedrun, we can actually see the runner's crosshair facing down to the left. This means his world generation and spawn are two different clips edited together, which will make more sense very soon. So, the run continues with the speedrunner making his way to a nearby village. We're giving him credit, he does some fairly normal things, such as collecting beds, looting a few chests, and even gathering hay. But things get weird when he goes up to this village's iron golem, because instead of starting to attack it to collect its iron, he mounts onto the golem and starts riding it all the way around the village. I'm so confused. So, after having some fun on the golem, he eventually kills it and makes his way to a nearby ruins portal. Now, I'm just gonna play this part of the footage and let me know if you caught what just happened. Did you see it? When the runner first locates the ruins portal, it's very clear there's only one chest. However, after the runner loots the first one, when he turns to the right, another chest has magically appeared, even though we clearly saw this exact same area had 0 chests just a few seconds ago. But how is that possible? Well, let's rewind the footage and take a closer look at this zombie. To start, how is this zombie even alive? It's daytime, and everyone knows zombies burn from the sun. And secondly, at this exact frame, we can actually see this zombie holding a chest. If you haven't caught on, this zombie is actually another player using a morph mod, and he's the one who placed this second chest. So, the runner loots the second chest, where to nobody's surprise, they find the exact amount of obsidian they need to complete the portal. But after the runner completes the portal, when he goes to light it, something incredibly strange happens. When he places his flint and steel, only half the portal lights. I'm not sure if this is a glitch, but what am I looking at? Well, the runner still decides to enter this cursed looking portal, and somehow it actually teleports him into the nether. That's absolutely insane. So, the runner enters the nether, and thankfully, things look pretty normal, as the runner starts running throughout the nether in hopes of locating either a bastion or a fortress. But instead of finding a normal fortress, they locate a gold fortress? Is this a new update? Well, the runner goes inside the gold fortress, but instead of finding normal blazes, they literally find gold blazes. And when the runner goes to kill some of the blazes, instead of dropping blaze rods, they instead drop gold ingots. You have to be kidding me. So, after wasting a ton of time in the gold fortress, the runner makes his way to a different fortress, where he luckily finds some pretty normal blazes who actually drop blaze rods, where, after collecting 7 rods, the runner makes his way to a nearby bastion. But the gold he got from the gold blazes must be glitched, because after he throws them at the piglins, literally none of them want to trade with it. This run is so confusing. So, with faulty gold, the runner is left with no choice but to mine gold blocks in the bastion. The only problem is, he doesn't have an iron pickaxe in his inventory, so how is he supposed to mine the gold blocks? Well, as the runner is casually running throughout the bastion, we see that he randomly acquires an iron pickaxe in his inventory, even though we clearly saw he didn't craft it anywhere in the speedrun. Well, let's rewind the footage to just a few frames earlier, where, if you look closely, you can actually see another player holding an iron pickaxe in their hand. And when the runner goes by, you can actually see this iron pickaxe being dropped from the sky. This is clearly the same player who was pretending to be a zombie earlier, helped helping the speedrunner gain an advantage. So, with an iron pickaxe, the runner mines some gold blocks, crafts some normal ingots, and starts to trade with some nearby piglins. And his trades seem to be going fairly well until the runner finds a pig? Okay, first off, it's not even possible for a pig to spawn naturally in the nether. And secondly, this pig must be magical because he actually gives the runner an entire stack of ender pearls. Now, I was almost fooled into thinking this pig was actually magical until I remembered this runner's friend morphed into a zombie earlier in the run, and this magical pig is likely the same friend again using a morph mod. So, after collecting 16 pearls from the magical pig, the runner needs to head back towards the overworlds. However, the runner only has 2 pieces of obsidian in their inventory, so how are they supposed to craft a nether portal? Well, the runner leaves the bastion, where they immediately head towards this wall. But after the runner turns around, he magically finds a fully built nether portal. But hold on, let's rewind the footage because this is literally impossible. If you look closely to before the runner heads towards this wall, you can actually see the slightest portion of an arm holding obsidian, which is clearly the same arm of this player's friend who we've seen help the runner throughout the speedrun. So, the runner enters the fully built nether portal and spawns back into the overworlds. But instead of using the process of triangulation like a normal speedrunner would, he seems to have a slightly different idea, because he starts running in a very specific direction where he reaches the stronghold house. This can't be a real feature. Well, the runner enters the stronghold house where he finds literally everything he needs for the stronghold. Extra eyes of ender, a sword to fight off silverfish, and even extra end portal frames. But the runner also finds this singular pressure plate, and when he steps on it, he's teleported straight into the strongholds. So, the runner teleports to the strongholds, where a normal speedrunner would then search for the end portal room. But brace yourself, because this is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. The runner literally finds his friend wearing a skin with an arrow on it that directs the runner all the way to the end portal room. They are even hiding their cheating anymore. So, the runner enters the end portal room where they light the portal and spawn into the end. But right off the bat, there's something incredibly suspicious about his spawn. To start, he doesn't even get an achievement, which reveals he's already been in the end. And secondly, the ender dragon is actually missing a sliver of health, even though the runner clearly hasn't touched it. Well, when the runner breaks out, what am I looking at? This is the most overpowered end I've literally ever seen. Not to mention, the runner finds a random chest on the ground that literally contains every single overpowered item in Minecraft history. And with this super overpowered loot, the runner quickly defeats the ender dragon. This next speedrun begins with the runner spawning inside a desert temple. And while technically I guess this isn't impossible, after literally asking ChatGPT, this has less than a 0.01% chance of happening. Either way, the speedrun begins with the runner collecting some wood nearby, crafting himself a couple of tools, and entering the desert pyramid. But as the runner is digging down, did you catch that? At this part of the footage, there's a very subtle cut where 2 items in the runner's inventory switch places. So, when the runner finds obsidian in the very first pyramid chest, an item that can't naturally spawn there, it's pretty obvious the runner cut the footage so he could go off camera and place it in this chest. So, after collecting some suspicious loot from the first chest, the other 3 chests luckily seem fairly normal. However, instead of leaving the pyramid after looting his 4th chest, he instead decides to start digging in a random tunnel, where he then finds a second desert pyramid. But hold on, let's rewind the footage to earlier in the run, where we can clearly see there's only 1 desert pyramid in this entire area. So I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how that just happened. So, the runner enters the second desert pyramid where he starts looting the chests inside, and thankfully, the first 3 chests that he loots contain completely normal stuff. And in the 4th chest, on the surface, it also appears as though it's completely normal. However, it's actually impossible for a redstone torch to spawn here. So not only is this chest completely fake, but remember this redstone torch for later in the run. So after looting 2 desert pyramids, the runner makes his way out towards a nearby village. And at a first glance, this village thankfully looks to be pretty normal. He loots a few chests, kills the iron golem, and collects a couple of beds, all very normal things in a speedrun. However, the runner then comes across a very strange looking village house, which looks to be slightly different than the rest of the village. If you couldn't tell, this is actually a village house from a taiga, when the runner is clearly in a plains biome village, which means the runner pasted this structure himself off camera. So, the runner enters this misplaced house, and to nobody's surprise, finds some of the strangest items I've ever seen. 47 pieces of bread, some cherry doors, a full set of leather armor, a pufferfish thrower. Wait, what? That is the goofiest weapon I've ever seen. So, after destroying an entire village with a pufferfish thrower, a normal speedrunner would then start searching for a ruins portal to make their way into the nether. But during his search, the runner comes across this strange pattern on this mountain wall, where if you look very closely, you'll actually notice it makes out the shape of an arrow that's clearly pointing at this block. Well, the runner pulls out the redstone torch he got from earlier in the run, and when he places it on this very block, a secret tunnel is revealed with a ladder going all the way down to a ruins portal. What is it with this guy in tunnels? Well, the runner enters the ruins portal room, where he of course has the exact amount of obsidian he needs to complete the portal, which now reveals why there was an obsidian in the chest earlier in the run. So the runner completes the ruin portal, but he's made one critical mistake. Throughout the entire speedrun, he didn't collect a single piece of flint. So how is he supposed to light the portal and head into the nether? Well, out of nowhere, the portal actually lights, even though we clearly saw the speedrunner didn't touch it at all. Well, let's actually take a closer look at this part of the footage. If you look into the corner of the screen, take a closer look at this wall, where if you look carefully, you can actually see there's another player wearing a skin he thinks blends in with the wall. And just a few seconds later, we can see this very player holding a flint and steel in their hands. These guys aren't fooling anyone. So, the runner goes towards the portal, enters it, and prepares to spawn into the nether. But when they spawn in, they literally spawn in mid-air. Wait, the portal is literally floating. There's not a single piece of obsidian to be found. But that's not all, because the runner jumps from this floating portal directly into a bastion. I'm just not gonna question it. So, the runner enters the bastion, where they locate an iron pickaxe, mine some gold, and start to trade with a group of piglins. However, do you notice that even though the runner doesn't have any gold armor on, the piglins still don't attack back when he breaks the gold blocks? Well, this is only possible if the runner is playing in peaceful mode, a game mode that's clearly not allowed during a competitive speedrun. Well, when the runner goes to change his render distance, he accidentally reveals he's been playing in peaceful mode this entire speedrun. This cheating has gone too far. So, the runner collects his gold blocks, throws them at the piglins, where they start to trade with the speedrunner. And at a first glance, the runner gets some pretty standard items, including ender pearls, obsidian, and even some iron nuggets. But the runner also gets one single item that's incredibly fake. A blaze sword? Is this a new Minecraft feature? This will make more sense very soon. So, the runner continues to trade with piglins, where he eventually collects 16 ender pearls and 12 obsidian, where they then make their way towards a nearby fortress. However, when they enter the fortress, you'll notice they seem to locate the blaze spawner suspiciously quickly. Well, if you look extremely closely, you'll actually notice this strange path of string on the floor. And if you play the footage, the runner followed this string all the way to the blaze spawner room. The problem is, it's pretty obvious string doesn't spawn naturally in a fortress. So, the runner locates the blaze spawner room, and this is when things get crazy. Do you remember when the runner got a blaze sword from this piglin trade? Well, the runner equips it and starts one-shotting every single blaze. That thing is insane. So, With this extremely overpowered blaze sword, the runner pretty quickly collects 7 blaze rods, where they build another portal, light it, and spawn into the overworld, where the runner starts using triangulation, a very popular method of locating the strongholds. But during his search, the runner makes a pit stop at these oak trees, where he starts to mine some of the leaves, likely to collect a couple of apples to help with his hunger. However, instead of normal apples dropping from this tree, out drops a golden apple, which first off isn't even possible to spawn naturally from a tree, and secondly, I have no idea how the runner just did that. So, with a couple of extra golden apples to help with the ender dragon later, the runner finally locates the stronghold, where he digs down and enters into it. But at this part of the footage, if you look closely into the bottom corner of the screen, you can actually see the faintest message of a player changing their game mode to survival. And suddenly, right after this message, the runner seems to know the exact path to the end portal room. If you couldn't tell, this message clearly revealed there was a cut in the recording where the runner went off camera in spectator mode to locate the end portal room. So, the runner enters the end portal room, but there's just one slight problem. The runner notices he only has 6 eyes of ender after wasting too many looking for the stronghold earlier in the run. And because the end portal requires 12 to be completed, how is the runner supposed to enter into the end? Well, the runner has the strategy of placing an eye of ender in every other frame. And when he places the last eye, what? He creates the most cursed end portal I've ever seen. And somehow, when the runner jumps in, he's actually teleported straight into the end. I'm at a loss for words. So, the runner enters the end, where thankfully, things look normal. He spawns on an obsidian platform, he's still in survival mode, and the dragon is still at full health. However, when the runner travels to the surface, every single end pillar is at ground level, which makes it incredibly easy for the runner to break the crystals. And on top of this, instead of finding a crystal at the last pillar, he instead finds a chest with an enchanted bow and arrows that could last a lifetime. And with this loot, the runner makes pretty quick work of the dragon. This next speedrun begins, and you have to be kidding me. We can clearly see the runner already has a bunch of items in their inventory before the run even started. Is this guy seriously this bad at cheating? Well, giving the runner the benefit of the doubt, the rest of his spawn is fairly normal, as the runner collects some wood, gathers some stone, and crafts a few extra tools. But let's watch closely to what happens when the runner mines this tree. I'll play the clip.
Oh my gosh, it's the magical tree chest.
You have to be kidding me. Well, the runner moves towards this magical tree chest, and inside is some of the best gear for a Minecraft speedrun. An iron pickaxe, fire resistance, some obsidian, even flint and steel. This is out of control. So, after looting the magical tree chest, the runner makes his way to a nearby village. Now, you may not have caught it at a first glance, but this is one of the goofiest villages I've ever seen. Because if you look closely, you'll actually notice every single house in this village is the exact same. Which, first off, I'm not even sure that's possible. And secondly, what purpose does that serve? So, after looting 10 of the exact same village house, the runner kills the iron golem and begins his search for a nearby ruined portal. But on his way, the runner comes across the magician's house? This can't be a real Minecraft structure. Well, the runner enters the magician's house and inside finds an actual magician who starts typing in chat asking if the runner wants to see a magic trick. I'm so confused. Well, the runner responds telling the magician he would love to see the trick, where the magician then asks the runner for his flint and steel to perform the trick. But after the runner gives him the item, the magician types in chat, "You just got scammed," and leaves the house through a secret tunnel. And the speedrunner is not happy at all.
Are you kidding me? That's the dumbest trick I've ever seen.
What is going on in this speedrun? So, after getting his flint and steel taken by a random Minecraft magician, the runner is left with no way to light his nether portal at the lava pool. Well, that's until the runner seemingly opens his inventory and flint and steel magically appears. But if you play the footage frame by frame, you can clearly see there was a cut in the recording where the runner obviously got the flint and steel off camera. So, with his flint and steel equipped, the runner lights his nether portal and spawns into the nether, where thankfully, for the first time all speedrun, things seem pretty normal. The runner is still in survival mode, he doesn't have any weird items in his inventory, and he makes his way to a nearby fortress. But this is when things just get even more cursed, because as the runner is searching throughout the fortress for a blaze spawner, he comes face to face with a wither skeleton. The only problem is, this wither skeleton looks slightly different than normal, and this strange looking skeleton literally drops 64 blaze spawner eggs for the runner to use. And I'm pretty sure anyone with a brain knows this quote-unquote wither skeleton is just another player with a wither skeleton skin. So, with 64 spawner eggs, the runner starts spawning in blazes and quickly collects blaze rods. But these blaze rods look slightly different than normal. Are those pink blaze rods? I don't even know what to say. So, after defeating a few more blazes, he collects 7 pink blaze rods, where a normal runner would then start searching for a bastion. But on his way, the runner literally comes across a creeper in the nether. Okay, first off, how did a creeper spawn in the nether? That's literally impossible. And secondly, when the runner goes to kill this creeper, it literally drops every overpowered item in Minecraft history. I don't even know what to say. So, with some pretty overpowered loot, the runner finally locates a bastion, where after mining some gold and crafting some ingots, he starts to trade with piglins. And on the surface, it would appear as though the runner gets insanely lucky, collecting 16 ender pearls almost immediately. However, if you actually pay attention to what's happening, you can clearly see these pearls aren't coming from the piglins, but coming from the sky. And just a few seconds later, when the runner looks up for just a brief second, we can literally see another player above him holding ender pearls. This cheating is out of control. So, with 16 ender pearls and 7 pink blaze rods, I guess a normal speedrunner would build a portal and head back to the overworld. The only issue is, the runner does not have enough obsidian in their inventory to do this, and he literally starts raging at his friend.
Did you forget what you were doing, you noob?
This is actually hilarious. Well, I guess his friend must have gotten the message, because suddenly, pieces of obsidian start falling from the sky right into the runner's inventory. So, the runner builds another portal, lights it, and spawns back into the overworld. But tell me why the runner literally spawns in above the clouds. Well, luckily for the speedrunner, he happens to have a spare water bucket in his inventory, so he immediately pulls it out and goes to attempt a water bucket clutch. But unfortunately, the runner doesn't succeed and literally dies, and he is not happy.
Whoa!
Well, the runner respawns where just a few seconds later, there's an obvious cut and the runner now has all of his items back. Not to mention, he immediately digs straight down, leading him straight into a stronghold. So, the runner enters the stronghold, where they almost immediately locate the end portal room. But, do you remember when the runner got pink blaze rods earlier in the run? Well, when the runner goes to craft his eyes of ender, they're literally pink. And when he lights the end portal, this just looks cursed.
Guys, I think there's a new update. The portal turns pink in Minecraft.
What is this guy even talking about? So, the runner lights the portal, but when he jumps in, what am I looking at? This is the funniest looking end I've ever seen. And why is the ender dragon literally pink? Well, the runner pretty quickly destroys the crystals, where he moves towards the ender dragon. But unfortunately, this pink ender dragon actually destroys the speedrunner, and the video just cuts off there. This next speedrun begins, and come on, you gotta be kidding me. In the bottom left corner of the screen, we can clearly see the message set on game mode to survival, which means the runner has already been on this world before he started recording. And not to mention, if you take a closer look at his inventory, the runner is actually selecting the 5th slot, when everybody knows you're supposed to be selecting the 1st slot. There's already a ton of suspicious stuff with this speedrun, so let's proceed with caution. Anyway, the speedrun begins, and hold on a second, did you see that? While the runner runner is casually running towards this tree, he suddenly loses half of his hunger. Now, not only does this mean the speedrunner cheated by having a cut in his recording, but losing 5 bars of hunger must have meant the speedrunner was off camera for quite a long time, so we need to keep that in mind. Anyway, the run continues with the speedrunner chopping down this tree, making a crafting table to craft wooden and stone tools, and heading towards this innocent looking nearby village. But just because a village looks innocent doesn't mean it actually is. Because when the runner turns the corner, what the bejesus? The runner finds the world's tallest village house, which appears to be 4 stories high. And if I had to guess, the runner must have wasted a ton of time building this off camera, which is definitely the reason why he lost so much hunger. Well, with this super village house being 4 stories high, the runner of course finds 4 different chests. And thankfully, the first 3 chests contain some pretty standard items that would normally spawn here. However, let's take a look at what the runner finds in the 4th chest. Okay, thank gosh. There's some pretty normal stuff in here. Wait a second. What the heck is a poisonous potato launcher? Did I forget to read the patch notes? Is this a part of the new update? Well, the runner grabs this strange item from the village chest along with his other items. And when he goes to shoot it, what the heck? He starts shooting poisonous potatoes that explode on contact with the ground and starts destroying an entire population of villagers. There is no way this is a real Minecraft item. Well, after terrorizing an entire village, the run continues with the speedrunner fighting the iron golem. Now, it might just be me, but it feels like it's taking a lot longer than usual for the runner to kill the golem. But that isn't all, because when the runner finally manages to kill it, just take a look at what this golem drops. Along with iron ingots and a rose, both normal items, the iron golem also drops a compass. But it looks like this isn't your ordinary compass, because this compass is called the Ruins Portal Locator. Can someone tell me which update they added this item in? Well, the runner collects his loot from the iron golem when he grabs the Ruins Portal Locator. And somehow, after following the direction of the compass, he decides to dig down at this exact block. But this portal locator must be broken, because instead of digging straight into a Ruins Portal room, the runner actually falls right into lava and actually dies. I guess that's what he deserves for cheating throughout the speedrun. So, the runner decides to continue his speedrun, so he clicks the respawn button and starts to collect a new set of items. But wait a second, the runner actually just cheated, and did you catch it? Because take a very close look at the exact location where the runner respawned into. Got it? Well, if we go back to the very beginning of the speedrun, notice how his spawn location is completely different. In Minecraft, when you die, you will automatically respawn at the world's spawn point. And because the runner spawned in a completely different location than his spawn point, that actually means this isn't his real spawn, and his world generation was completely fake. So, after respawning, the runner collects a fresh set of tools, goes to the same village and collects some important loot before finally locating an actual ruined portal. But wait a second, did you just catch the small thing the runner just did to cheat? Well, let's slow down the footage and take a closer look at what happens when the runner opens the portal chest. As you can clearly see, when the runner goes to open it, his character actually moves slightly to the right. The only explanation is that there was yet another cut in the speedrunner's recording, which is proven further by his timer jumping ahead nearly 7 seconds. So, when this speedrunner finds the exact amount of obsidian he needs to complete the portal, I think everybody can tell he cut his video and placed those extra blocks off camera. So, the runner completes the portal, and he finally makes his way into the nether, where the runner begins his search to locate a nether fortress. But that's when the runner comes across the world's goofiest looking fortress. What in the Timu Minecraft fortress even is this? Wait, my bad guys. It has a sign clearly stating fortress, so it must be real. Well, the runner enters the quote-unquote nether fortress, where he actually manages to locate a blaze pretty quickly. But this blaze doesn't look normal. What the heck? This might be the goofiest speedrun I've literally ever seen. Well, instead of fighting this blaze with an axe or a sword like a real speedrunner would, this speedrunner pulls out some shears from their inventory, killing the blaze, which reveals a chest at the bottom with 7 blaze rods, the exact amount that he needs. So, with 7 blaze rods in his inventory, the runner starts to search for a nearby bastion. But on the way, the runner finds this random line of chests on the ground. And, being curious, when the runner goes to open one of them, he finds a pink tulip. Not gonna lie, I don't exactly know what's going on. Well, not only does the first chest have a pink tulip, but so does every single chest that he opens. And the cherry on top is that these chests actually form a line directly into a bastion. Now, you're probably wondering what the runner could possibly do with these random pink tulips he has in his inventory. Well, when the runner locates a group of nearby piglins, he decides to start throwing the tulips straight at them. Okay, I don't want to make fun of this guy, but I think everybody knows piglins don't trade with flowers. Wait, what? The piglins start making trades with pink tulips? I couldn't have missed this many updates. Well, not only do the piglins literally trade with a flower, but they actually give the speedrunners some pretty good loot, including 12 ender pearls and 12 pieces of obsidian, the exact amount of each item he needs to move on with the speedrun. So, the runner grabs his items from the piglins and moves towards an open area so he can start building his nether portal. But the runner starts doing something incredibly weird, because why is the runner crafting a flat nether portal? Did he mix up what an end portal and a nether portal look like? Well, unfortunately for the speedrunner, nether portals can only work if they are facing up. But the runner pulls out some flint and steel to try anyway. What? Look, I'll replay the footage. The runner just lit a facing down nether portal. I think I may be losing brain cells. So, the runner enters this strange portal where he finally spawns back into the overworld. But this is when things just get straight impossible, because the runner makes the decision to not craft a single Eye of Ender, even though he needs them to locate the end portal room. But instead, he decides to pull out some leftover bread from earlier in the run. And somehow, when he clicks the bread, it flies in the air exactly like an Eye of Ender, and literally starts directing the speedrunner straight to the strongholds. I've ran out of things to say. So, using a literal loaf of bread, the runner locates the exact position of the strongholds, where he quickly digs down and enters into it. And at first, everything looks fairly normal as the runner starts to search for the end portal room. But that's when the runner comes across this door, which is clearly not a door that naturally spawns in a stronghold. But when the runner opens it, he finds a secret path leading directly into the end portal room. Yeah, this isn't a real Minecraft feature. So, the runner enters the end portal room, but this is when things get weird. Because even though the runner clearly has enough rods and pearls in their inventory to craft Eyes of Ender, the runner still strangely decides not to, and instead uses these 3 iron ingots to craft a bucket and starts to collect lava from this pool, where he starts filling in the end portal? I've never seen this strategy before. Well, the runner places the lava so that it fills the entire end portal and jumps in, somehow actually teleporting into the end. What? And after this, the runner has the audacity to type in the chat that this lava end portal was simply a new update. And at this point, I'm just gonna believe him. So, the runner enters the end, and at a first glance, everything does look fairly normal. All the end crystals are still on the pillars, the runner is still in survival mode with the same amount of XP, and his inventory is filled with completely normal items. But when the runner travels towards the surface, what in tarnation? He finds the end pit stop, and inside, the runner of course finds a chest with every single item he'd ever need to fight the dragon. So, the runner grabs his items, and after waiting for the dragon to perch, he attempts to kill fill it using some of his beds. But somehow, after the runner tries to break one of the beds, he literally gets launched into the air and dies to fall damage. And the run just cuts off there. This next speedrun begins, and right off the bat, there's already something suspicious. No, it isn't his game mode, as the runner is clearly in survival. And it's also not his inventory, as the runner is clearly selecting the first slot. But take a closer look into the top corner of the screen, where you can see this strange biome in the distance. This clearly isn't a biome that spawns in vanilla Minecraft, so keep it in mind for later. Now, besides that, the rest of his spawn is fairly normal, as the runner enters a nearby village. And after gathering some hay and a bit of loot, the runner prepares to enter this village house. But inside, the runner finds a trap door with a ladder going all the way down to a custom potion room. This can't be a real Minecraft feature, is it? Well, just to confirm I wasn't going crazy, I found this exact same village house in my own Minecraft world, and I can confirm this potion room is completely fake. Either way, the runner enters the potion room, where he of course finds some pretty overpowered potions, including 2 potions of fire resistance and 2 potions of swiftness. So, the runner climbs out of the potion room and prepares to loot the rest of the village. But did you notice that when the runner exits the village house, notice how it's suddenly nighttime? In Minecraft, it won't start getting dark until 10 minutes have passed. However, based on this speedrunner's file, we can clearly see only 50 seconds have passed. This means the runner must have cut his footage somewhere in the speedrun, likely so he could go off camera and make this overpowered potion room. So, the runner continues to loot the village when he opens this village chest. And inside, he finds some pretty standard items you'd expect to spawn here. Some emeralds, a couple of pieces of bread, and some cactus. But the runner also finds this extremely strange item that appears to be some sort of key. But that's not the only fake thing with this part of the speedrun, because watch closely to what happens when the runner closes this chest. Did you catch that? It magically changes from night back to day while the runner is closing the chest, meaning there was yet another cut in the speedrun. This guy can't stop cheating. So, after collecting this strange looking key from the village chest, the run continues with him locating a nearby desert pyramid. And the runner cheats once again, because even though we can clearly see him step right on the pressure plate, not a single piece of TNT goes off. But that isn't all, because while the loot in these desert pyramid chests may appear to be normal, it's actually impossible for obsidian to spawn here, meaning the runner placed it himself off camera. And when the runner is leaving the pyramid, he actually notices one final chest in the corner of the temple. And to nobody's surprise, when he opens this chest, he finds a ton of diamonds. Not only is it clearly impossible for diamonds to spawn in a pyramid chest, but after confirming in my own Minecraft world, it's not even possible for a chest to spawn in this location. So, after looting the desert temple, the runner locates a nearby ruins portal. But, once again, we see this extremely strange biome that the runner first noticed at spawn. Well, being curious, I decided to do a bit of research, and I actually found that this biome comes from a Minecraft mod called Biomes of Plenty. The problem is, this mod is clearly not allowed to be used during a Minecraft speedrun. Anyway, the runner locates the ruins portal, and if I have to give him credit, almost everything he does is perfectly legit, as he loots the chest, crafts a diamond pickaxe, and goes to light the ruins portal. However, there's one small thing you probably missed that's actually completely fake. Because watch, the runner opens this chest and clearly takes all the loot from inside it, leaving it completely empty. However, just a couple of seconds later, when the runner goes to open this exact same chest, he somehow finds 3 pieces of flint inside, allowing him to make flint and steel and light the nether portal. How did this chest magically gain flint? I have literally no idea. So, the runner lights the portal, spawns into the nether, and he cheats once again. because on the surface, it appears as though he gets insanely lucky, spawning directly inside of a fortress. But let's play this part of the footage in slow motion to see what really happens. If you look closely, you can clearly see the runner spawned in a completely different location, but he cut his video to make it look like he spawned in a fortress. He just can't stop cheating. So, the runner enters the fortress, and after using the fire resistance potion he got from the potion room, he starts to search for the blaze spawner room. But on his way, what kind of cursed biome even is that? I'm not gonna question it. So, once the runner locates the blaze spawner room, he begins to fight some of the blazes. But I'm not gonna lie, the runner is kind of getting destroyed, and he almost gets killed on half a heart before killing a single blaze. I guess cheating doesn't get you any skill in Minecraft. Well, being that the runner is literally on half a heart, he starts running for his life. But after he checks his inventory, he somehow has 12 blaze rods? Even though we saw he didn't kill a single blaze. I don't even know what to say. So, after somehow collecting 12 blaze rods, the runner begins his search for a nearby bastion. And once he locates one, he quickly begins to trade with a nearby piglet. But let's take a very close look at this runner's first trade, where we can clearly see the runner only collects 2 eyes of ender. However, after a handful of more trades, when the runner checks his inventory, he now somehow has 13 eyes of ender, which I'm sorry, just makes 0 sense. So, after somehow collecting all the pearls that he needs, the runner travels back to his nether portal and heads into the overworld. And after crafting his eyes of ender, the runner decides to enter this nearby village, where, don't tell me that's what I think it is, he finds a car? What is going on? Well, do you remember when earlier in the run, the speedrunner got this strange key? Well, using that very key, the runner opens the door to the car and starts driving in it all the way to the position of the stronghold. Since when were cars added to Minecraft? So, the runner locates the stronghold, digs down, and of course, he digs straight into the end portal room. But instead of immediately lighting the portal, the runner goes towards this lava pool, where he opens a hidden chest that not only has netherite armor, but a machine gun? Oh gosh. Well, after the runner enters the end, you'd actually expect him to make pretty quick work of the ender dragon, considering he has a literal machine gun. But he must have angered the wrong enderman, because he starts getting attacked and almost dies, luckily pausing his game at the very last second. How is this guy so bad when he literally has a machine gun? Well, after the runner nearly dies and pauses his game, the runner decides to open Bing, and you can clearly see him searching up how to get God mode in Minecraft. Did this guy forget that he's literally recording him cheating? Well, after searching up how to get God mode in Minecraft, the runner returns to the game, but I guess he didn't follow the tutorial correctly, because when he attempts to get quote-unquote God mode, he actually dies. And the run just cuts off there. This next speedrun begins, and you gotta be kidding me. Right off the bat, we can clearly see that the runner is selecting the last slot in their inventory instead of selecting the first like in a real speedrun, which already proves his world generation was completely fake, and the runner is likely using a set seed, so keep it in mind for later. Well, besides the fact that his generation was completely fake, everything else does look fairly normal, as the runner is still in survival mode, he doesn't have any items in his inventory, and he is facing perfectly straight. But as the runner goes to collect wood from a nearby tree, he accidentally exposes his cheating once again, because we can clearly see the most obvious message that somebody else has joined the world. This message actually proves the runner is playing on a multiplayer server, which is something that's clearly not allowed during a solo speedrun. So, the runner mines some wood, crafts himself a couple of tools, and makes his way towards a nearby village. But come on, you gotta be kidding me. At this frame, we once again see the message of somebody else joining the world. How many friends does he need to help him cheat in the speedrun? Well, the runner enters the village, where after collecting beds and mining some hay, the runner goes to kill the iron golem. But is it just me, or does he kill the golem suspiciously quickly? Far faster than how long it normally takes to kill a golem. Well, let's actually take a closer look at what really happened. because if you pay close attention to both sides of the golem, you'll actually notice these strange white particles in the air. And these white particles are actually the byproduct of somebody using an invisibility potion. And because we saw two different people joining this speedrunner's world, it's pretty obvious these two areas of particles are the runner's two friends. And they are helping the runner kill the golem while being invisible, which explains why he could kill it so quickly. So, after collecting some iron from the golem and crafting a bucket, a normal speedrunner would then start searching for a lava pool to craft a nether portal. And to his credit, he actually locates it fairly quickly without any suspicious activity at a first glance. However, the runner actually did just cheat, because let's rewind the footage to before the runner started searching for the lava pool. At this exact frame, if you look closer into the right corner of the screen, take a very close look at this tree, because right in front of it is a player wearing a leaf skin who is literally blending in with the tree. And if you play the footage, the runner followed this player blending in with the trees all the way to the lava pool. And it's pretty obvious this player who is wearing a leaf skin is one of the runner's friends who we saw join the worlds earlier, and he was leading the speedrunner directly to the lava pool. And this guy must have seen my videos before, because I've literally seen other players try to blend in with items in different speedruns. So, the runner locates the lava pool, where he quickly crafts his nether portal. And with the portal being completed, a normal speedrunner would head into it and spawn into the nether. But this speedrunner seems to have a slightly different idea, because the runner literally changes tabs from Minecraft to Google Docs, where we can literally see the speedrunner working on a history report. Did this guy forget to do his homework?
5 minutes later.
Well, after spending way too long on his essay, the runner finally decides to return to Minecraft. And I hate to say it, but the runner cheated once again, because take a very close look at the version the runner is playing before he started to work on his essay, where we can clearly see the runner is playing in Minecraft 1.12. However, after the runner returned from his essay, we can actually now see the runner is playing in 1.16. Now, the Nether update was a very important Minecraft update that added crucial speedrunning features like a bastion and piglins. And what was the version when this update was released? 1.16. So if you couldn't tell, the runner clearly cheated by changing his game version so that he could take advantage of a bastion in the Nether and make the speedrun easier. So the runner enters the Nether, and on the surface, things would appear to be normal, as the runner is still in survival mode and he hasn't gained any strange potion effects. However, there's actually one small detail which reveals his spawn into the Nether is actually completely fake, because before the runner entered the portal, notice how he is clearly in third person. However, when the runner spawns in, he is now somehow in first person. This actually proves there is a cut in the speedrunner's recording, as it's impossible to change perspectives while being on the loading screen. So, when the runner locates a fortress literally right next to his portal, it's pretty obvious he went off camera, located one with a command, and edited his recording to hide his cheating. So, the runner enters the fortress, where he actually finds some pretty standard loot in this chest. But that's the last normal thing that happens in the fortress, because when the runner locates the blaze spawner, oh come on, does this guy seriously think we're going to believe a Steve skin with a blaze head is a real Minecraft blaze? And I've literally seen this so many times. Well, the runner goes to kill the quote-unquote blaze, and it's actually hilarious because when he kills it, there's the most obvious message in the chat that this is another player. And of course, when he kills this player, he drops 7 blaze rods for the runner. I'm not impressed. So, with enough rods in his inventory to continue with the speedrun, you'd probably expect the runner to locate a nearby bastion. But this speedrunner doesn't actually find a normal bastion, but a bastion fortress? Did I miss a new Minecraft update? Well, I'm not gonna lie. this bastion fortress looks absolutely insane, and the runner quickly decides to enter the fortress, where he heads through these doors. But when he goes inside, he comes face to face with the King Piglin, who throws a book at the runner reading the message, "Collect me 64 gold blocks and I will give you all the pearls you need." Is the King Piglin a new Minecraft update? Well, after reading the message, the runner decides to go to the second page, where it reads, "Fail to do so and every piglin in the nether will kill you." Things just got a little scary. Well, probably scared out of his mind, the runner quickly types in chat that he accepts the offer and he leaves the bastion fortress. But instead of actually locating gold blocks, he simply teleports one of his friends to him, who literally gives him every single gold block that he needs. And don't let the King Piglin know that he didn't get these blocks naturally. So, with 64 gold blocks, the runner returns to the bastion fortress, where he hands them over to the King Piglin. And as promised, he is given a chest with every single ender pearl he could ever need. Okay, this King Piglin is actually kinda cool. Well, with 7 blaze rods and enough pearls to last a lifetime, the runner quickly heads back towards the overworld. But immediately after the runner spawns in, he finds a quote-unquote pig. Okay, come on, they aren't even the same shape. There is no way he thinks we're going to believe this. Well, the runner moves towards the pig, who also gives the speedrunner a book. And inside, to absolutely nobody's surprise, the book has the exact coordinates to the strongholds. This is just hilarious. So, the runner heads towards the coordinates, where he quickly starts digging down in hopes of locating the strongholds. But instead of falling into the strongholds, the runner falls into some random room, where he comes face to face with another player who's wearing full netherite armor and has a full netherite sword equipped. And this player quickly types in chat explaining that if the speedrunner doesn't give him 100 real dollars, he's going to kill him on the spot. And I guess the runner doesn't want to lose this speedrun, because the footage literally switches from Minecraft to real life, where the runner literally proves he has a real $100 bill. This run is just confusing. So, after the runner proves that he has the money, this strange player finally lets him free, and the runner can actually enter into the strongholds. And thankfully, for the first time literally all speedrun, things are normal, as the runner locates the end portal room without a single bit of strange activity. But after the runner lights the portal and goes to spawn in the end, what the heck? This might be the most cursed end I've literally seen in Minecraft. And is the Ender Dragon literally a bee? Unfortunately, with him being so close to the crystals, when he tries to break one, he literally dies, and the run just cuts off there. This next speedrun begins, and right away, there's already something fake about it. No, it doesn't have anything to do with this spawn, as the runner is facing perfectly straight. And it's not his game mode either, as the runner is in survival with 0 XP. But let's take an extremely close look at this speedrunner's world generation. I'll play the clip. Did you catch that? If you play his world generation frame by frame, you can actually see there's one single frame where the runner is selecting the second slot in their inventory. This is something that's impossible, as you will always spawn in selecting the first slot of your inventory. This actually proves the runner edited his world generation, and likely means he's using a set seed, which will become extremely obvious later in the run. Well, giving the speedrunner the benefit of the doubt, the rest of his spawn is fairly normal, as the runner collects some wood, crafts a couple tools, and makes his way to a nearby village. All pretty legit. But the runner then finds one of the luckiest structures I've literally ever seen, because he finds a shipwreck in the middle of a village house. Now, I almost thought this dude found the world's luckiest seed until I realized this part of the speedrun is completely fake, because after a quick search on YouTube, I actually found this exact same seed in a YouTube video titled The Best New Village Seeds for Minecraft 1.20. And now it's confirmed that the runner is using a set seed, which is why he faked his world generation earlier in the run. So, after locating this insanely overpowered structure, the run continues with the speedrunner going to loot a chest in this village house. And at a first glance, it may appear as though all of the loot in this chest is completely normal, as the runner collects bread, iron, and even apples, all normal items. But the runner also finds a clock in the corner of the chest. But this isn't a normal clock, but a time clock that gives the runner the ability to freeze time? Remember this for later. So, after looting a few more chests, killing the iron golem, and collecting some hay, the runner needs to find a lava pool to craft a nether portal. And giving him credit, he actually locates one fairly quickly in a nearby cave. But as the runner is working on creating his portal, take a very close look at this ore. On the surface, it may look like this is simply a normal piece of redstone. However, this block is actually incredibly fake, because after the runner notices it and goes to mine it, he collects a ruby? Is that even a real Minecraft item? Well, he doesn't only find one piece of ruby ore, but an entire vein of ruby ore. And after collecting 24 pieces, he literally crafts an entire set of ruby armor. How many Minecraft updates did I miss? So, with a full set of ruby armor equipped, the runner finishes creating his portal, crafts flint and steel, and makes his way into the nether. And this is when the speedrunner attempts to cheat in one of the worst ways possible. I'll just play the footage. Yes, the runner spawned into the nether, and after 4 seconds, there's the world's most obvious cut, and he's now somehow directly in front of a fortress. There is no way he thinks he's fooling anyone. So, with the runner magically spawning directly in front of a fortress, he quickly makes his way inside of it. But prepare yourself, because instead of finding blazes in the fortress, you can't be serious. The runner finds skibbity toilet mobs. Since when was brain rot added to Minecraft? Well, the runner starts fighting literal toilets in Minecraft, and by some miracle, they actually drop blaze rods. I genuinely do not know what to say. Well, after the runner kills a few more skibbity toilets, he ends up with 6 blaze rods, meaning he only needs to collect 1 more before he can travel to a bastion. But that's when, out of nowhere, appears a giant skibbity toilet, which actually kills the speedrunner. Like, literally, what is going on? So, after getting destroyed by the world's biggest skibbity toilet, the runner decides he's going to respawn. And of course, after one of the world's most obvious cuts, he finds a chest right in front of him with all of his items and the exact amount of blaze rods that he needs, which is totally legit. So, after getting his items back, the runner returns to the nether, where he begins his search for a bastion. But after only a couple minutes of searching, the runner simply can't seem to locate one. Well, as the runner is seemingly searching for the bastion, take a very close look at this wall. If you pay close attention, you'll actually notice these 2 blocks sticking out of the wall, which is something that clearly doesn't spawn naturally in vanilla Minecraft. Well, the runner moves closer towards this weird wall, where he pulls out his pickaxe, starts to break these 2 strange blocks, which reveals a tunnel all the way to the bastion. What type of cursed block did he just break? So, after somehow locating the bastion, the run continues by the speedrunner locating some gold blocks, crafting some gold ingots, and searching for some piglins to trade with. But let's just say, the runner finds some strange looking piglins in the bastion. Are those diamond piglins? Seriously, how many updates have I missed? Well, along with these piglins literally being diamond, they drop the speedrunner a full set of diamond tools, diamond armor, and even a full stack of diamond blocks. And along with this array of overpowered diamond gear, they also give the speedrunner a full stack of ender pearls. This is starting to hurt my brain. So, after collecting 16 pearls and 7 blaze rods, he should head back towards the overworld. But this guy must be new to speedrunning because he decides he's going to start creating a portal out of hay. And don't worry, this clearly isn't going to work. Oh my gosh, it actually worked. But wait, let's actually take a closer look and see what really happened. Because if you slow down this footage and play it frame by frame, take a very close look into the bottom left corner of the screen, where we can clearly see a command revealing the runner spawned in these nether portal frames himself. If you haven't caught on, the runner didn't actually create a nether portal with hay, but instead used a Minecraft command to spawn in the portal himself. Unfortunately, this guy's a terrible editor and reveals the entire thing. So, after quote-unquote creating a hay portal, the runner finally makes his way into the overworld. And if I have to give him credit, he does locate the strongholds pretty normally, without cheating or any suspicious activity. But that's about the last real thing he does in the speedrun, because he actually cheats once again during his search for the end portal room. And let me know if you can spot exactly what he does. Did you notice it? Well, as the runner is looking throughout the strongholds, take a very close look at the floor, where you can actually spot stone pressure plates in various locations around the strongholds. First off, not only is it clearly impossible for pressure plates to spawn naturally, but secondly, we can clearly see the runner followed these pressure plates all the way to the end portal room. And if you couldn't tell, these pressure plates were clearly placed by the runner off camera. So, the runner enters the end portal room, but things just get even worse. Because first, the runner doesn't find a silverfish spawner, something that will always spawn in the end portal room. And secondly, when he goes to the portal, it already has 12 Eyes of Ender filled in, which if you weren't aware, has over a 1 in 1 trillion chance of happening, which is code for this is completely fake. So, the runner enters the fully lit end portal, and here's where things get insane. Do you remember when the runner found this strange clock in a village chest earlier in the run? Well, the runner pulls it out, and after clicking it, he literally pauses time, which freezes the ender dragon and every single enderman in a place. And with the dragon unable to move and frozen while he's perched, it's pretty obvious that the speedrunner absolutely destroys him. This next speedrun begins with the runner spawning directly next to a village, where right away, there's already something completely fake about the speedrun. Because if you take a very close look into the bottom corner of the screen, you can see the faintest message of a player changing his game mode to survival. This actually reveals that this speedrunner has already been on the world, which will make more sense very soon. So, the speedrun continues with the runner mining some wood, crafting a few tools, and entering the nearby village. However, take a very close look at this village's iron golem. If you've been paying attention, you've likely noticed that this iron golem has stayed still the entire speedrun. And when the runner goes to attack it, even though it's clearly angry, it doesn't move a single inch. This iron golem being completely frozen in place is something that's only possible if spawned in using a command, which means the runner likely spawned this golem in before recording, which explains why he changed his game mode back to survival at the start of the run. So, after destroying the iron golem, the run continues with the runner collecting some beds and gathering some hay, where a normal speedrunner would then leave the village and start their search for either a lava pool or a ruined portal. However, this speedrunner has a completely different idea and literally starts building up towards the sky. What is this guy doing? Well, after building up way into the clouds, the runner does something absolutely mind-blowing as they pull out a pickaxe from their inventory and start mining in the air, and somehow they break through the sky, revealing a cave with a full ruins portal inside. Hold on, we have to replay that. Yes, this guy just broke through the sky into a completely different world. I am so confused right now, I don't even know what to say. So, the runner enters the ruined portal room in the sky and goes to loot the ruined portal chest. However, the runner finds some pretty suspicious items in this chest, including a diamond sword, a golden apple, and even a potion of fire resistance, which clearly means the runner placed these items here before recording. However, that is not the only fake thing about this part of the speedrun, because when the runner goes to light the nether portal, it turns green? That doesn't look normal. Well, it doesn't even stop there, because when the runner enters the nether, all of the colors look absolutely crazy. There's something very cursed about this nether portal. Thankfully, after a while, the colors return back to normal, where the runner starts to search for a nearby bastion. But as the speedrunner is casually running throughout the nether, he suddenly falls to the ground, landing directly into a bastion. Hold on, let's rewind the footage and watch that back. Are you seeing this? The runner just phased through the floor. I don't even know what to say. So, the runner enters the bastion, where they have one slight issue. The runner doesn't have a single iron pickaxe anywhere in their inventory. And without an iron pickaxe, they can't collect any gold, so how are they supposed to trade with piglins? Well, the runner pulls out his diamond sword he got from the ruined portal chest and actually starts mining gold blocks, which, for those of you who don't know, is literally impossible, as it's not even possible to mine blocks with any type of sword. So I literally have no idea how the runner just did that. So, after collecting gold with a literal diamond sword, he crafts a couple of ingots and starts to trade with the piglins. But these are some of the worst piglins I've ever seen, because they start giving the speedrunners saplings, cobblestone, and even dirt, which are all three items that can't even be traded with from a piglin. Well, the runner seems to be annoyed at these absolutely terrible trades, so he starts searching throughout the bastion until he finds this strange lever that has a sign above it saying the OP lever. And this lever must actually work, because after the runner flips it, when he goes back to the very same piglins who gave him terrible items, they literally start giving the speedrunner Minecraft's most overpowered items. Ender pearls, god apples, even diamond armor. I don't know what's happening. So, after the runner collects 2 stacks of ender pearls and 12 obsidian from these super overpowered piglins, the runner makes his way to a nearby fortress, where he not only finds 1, but 2, 3, and 4 blaze spawner rooms in one single fortress, which is literally double the max amount of blaze spawners that can spawn in a fortress. But my question is, even though this is clearly fake, what's the point of having 4 blaze spawners in one single fortress? Well, these 4 spawners allow the runner to get an insane amount of blaze rods, which will become very clear later in the run. So, after collecting far more blaze rods than any normal speedrunner would need, the runner builds a nether portal and heads back towards the overworld, where after crafting his Eyes of Ender, the speedrunner pretends that he's using triangulation. But almost everyone can tell that this runner is literally just throwing eyes in random directions. But somehow, despite this terrible attempt at triangulation, the runner seems to know the exact location of the strongholds. Well, let's actually rewind the footage and see what really happened. Because if you look extremely closely at this speedrunner's hotbar, at this part of the footage, you can actually see 2 items swap places, which reveals there was a cut in the recording. And in the very next frame after this obvious cut, you can actually see the faintest message of a player using a /locate command. And it's pretty obvious this command is how he found the stronghold, not this terrible attempt at triangulation. So, the runner digs down, enters the stronghold, and starts searching for the end portal room. And giving him credit, he actually locates the end portal room pretty quickly. However, when the runner goes to look at the portal, what? This is literally the world's biggest end portal. Well, do you remember when the speedrunner collected an insane amount of blaze rods earlier in the run? Well, it's pretty obvious he did that so he could get a bunch of Eyes of Ender, enough to complete this huge end portal. So, the runner lights this giant portal, and somehow it actually works, so the runner spawns into the end. And to his credit, his spawn does look pretty normal. As he's still in survival mode, he doesn't get any strange potion effects, and the dragon is still at full health. However, when he goes to the surface, he literally can't find the Ender Dragon, and the portal has already been filled, even though we can clearly see the dragon still has health. Well, even though it shows the dragon still has full health, the runner simply jumps in the portal and finishes the speedrun. This next speedrun begins, and honestly, everything looks pretty normal. The runner spawns in facing perfectly straight, his game mode is set to survival without any XP, and he's selecting the very first slot of his inventory. But as the runner enters the nearby village, take a very close look at this door. It's already open, and while technically I guess a villager could have opened it, it is slightly suspicious. But when the runner enters this house and finds a secret chest hidden in the floor, I think it's pretty obvious he placed it there himself off camera and forgot to close the door once he was done. So after looting the secret chest, the runner then begins to search for the iron golem, likely to get iron to craft flint and steel or a bucket. But that's when the runner finds 2 iron golems. Now, it is technically possible for 2 golems to spawn in a single village. However, it requires there to be at least 20 villagers that have spawned. And as we can clearly see by the footage, there isn't a single villager in sight, likely meaning the runner spawned in this second iron golem off camera. Well, the runner starts to fight the first iron golem when something insane happens. Because when he kills this iron golem, he somehow drops 45 iron ingots? How is that possible? Well, the maximum amount of ingots a golem can drop is actually only 5. Which means for the runner to get 45 from one single golem, he clearly messed with the loot drops of this world. So, with 45 iron ingots, it's pretty easy for the runner to craft a full set of armor and some helpful tools, where he then begins to search for a nearby ruins portal. But on his way, the runner decides to break this random tree. But at the bottom, the runner finds a secret chest with a book inside, and when he opens the book, he's given the exact coordinates of a pale garden biome. You can't be serious. Well, following the book, the runner quickly travels to the pale garden biome. But watch very closely to what happens when the runner fights some of the mobs in the biome. I'll play the clip. Did you catch that? Even though the runner clearly gets hit multiple times by this zombie and is right in the middle of a creeper explosion, he somehow doesn't take a single tick of damage. How did this speedrunner literally become invincible? I have absolutely no idea. So, after fighting some mobs, the runner then goes to kill this nearby creaking. However, when he kills it, the creaking somehow drops a block of obsidian. First off, creakings actually can't drop any items upon killing them. But secondly, this isn't actually a real piece of obsidian, because when the runner opens his inventory, it's called the creaking nether portal. Did I miss an update? Well, the runner grabs the creaking nether portal and heads towards this open area. But when he places the block down, a nether portal suddenly starts building itself, and after it's completed, it lights all on its own. That was one of the craziest things I've literally ever seen. And when the runner enters the quote-unquote creaking nether portal, he actually spawns into the nether directly into a fortress. I don't know what to say. So, the runner enters the fortress, drinks a potion of fire resistance, and starts to fight a nearby blaze. However, you probably didn't even catch it, but the runner actually just cheated. Because let's rewind to right before the runner spawned into the nether, where I want you to take a very good look at his inventory. Got it? Well, the runner enters the nether portal, but when he spawns in, now take a look at his inventory, where the runner has magically acquired a fire resistance potion. If you couldn't tell, the runner clearly edited his speedrun and got this potion off camera, likely to make it easier to fight and kill blazes. So, the runner starts to fight this blaze, but he just cheats once again. Because watch this clip and tell me if you see what's fake about it. Did you catch it? Yes. the runner only killed 1 blaze, but this blaze somehow drops 9 blaze rods for the speedrunner. And it doesn't take a genius to know blazes can't drop 9 blaze rods. So, with 9 blaze rods in his inventory, the runner then starts his search for a nearby bastion. But on his way out, the runner kills 1 more blaze just for fun, where he now has 18 blaze rods. This guy can't help himself from cheating. So, the runner finally locates a bastion, where he quickly collects some ingots, and starts to trade with some of the piglins. But every single trade he gets from the piglins are somehow ender pearls. And, just because I wanted to give this runner the benefit of the doubt, the odds of 5 ender pearl trades in a row is literally over 1 in 1.8 million. Which basically confirms these trades are completely fake. So, after collecting 18 blaze rods and 2 stacks of ender pearls, a normal speedrunner would then head back towards the overworld. But the runner realizes he has 1 more creaking portal in his inventory, and once again, a portal is literally crafted out of thin air, allowing the runner to travel back to the overworld. That's honestly insane. So, the speedrunner spawns in, and things get even more suspicious. Because at his spawn, take a very close look at this strange block of gravel, which to me at least, appears to be slightly out of place. Well, of course, after the runner crafts a pickaxe, he starts digging down at this exact gravel block, and ends up falling straight into the end portal room. You can't make this up. So, the runner enters the end portal room, where you'd probably expect him to light the portal and head into the end. But the runner instead decides to jump down near the lava, break this block of cobblestone, which reveals a secret trapdoor room. And inside, the runner finds a chest with a bow and a full stack of arrows, along with extra beds to help with the dragon. And I don't even need to explain that the runner clearly built this off camera. So, the runner finally spawns into the end, and giving him credit, things thankfully appear to be legit. As the ender dragon has full health, the runner is still in survival mode, and he doesn't have any weird items in his inventory. But as the runner is casually running around the surface, take a very close look at this end pillar, where if you look closely, you can actually see 2 blocks of black wool that are trying to blend in. And of course, when the runner breaks these 2 blocks, he finds another secret chest room with full diamond armor. It's so obvious he built this secret room off camera. So, after collecting a ton of overpowered loot, the runner starts using his bow to shoot at the ender dragon. But I'm not gonna lie, this guy has some of the worst aim I've literally ever seen, and is missing nearly every single shot with his bow. Well, he must have gotten sick of being so bad using this bow, because the runner instead decides to pull out his fist and somehow one-shots the ender dragon. Let me repeat that, while using his fist. Click on screen now to watch even more fake Minecraft speedruns.